Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 245. Much worse video coming through this week, but actually, I don't know. It's worse. I don't know how much worse. But same audio's coming through. Problems with, I don't think camera one, I think it's camera cable one. So we're on to camera two. Yeah, super interesting for everybody, I'm sure. But we're still here. We're going to talk about another week of wrestling. Dynamite, NXT, Raw, some news, some trivia. I don't know, and whatever we get into right now, anything's time-stamped. You can find it. Jump to whatever you want. Jump back to... No one's jumping back.
That's not right.
No one's jumping back. For the video listeners, since it's not so clear, we've got... It's always timely. It's Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because it's official. I guess it's in our news, but
yeah,
whatever. You're kind of upset about it.
I think we both are a little bit.
From one angle, specifically.
Selfishly.
Yeah, definitely. So, I don't know. I don't know what to talk about on this banter.
I don't think we did that much this week.
I didn't do much. We're just preparing for... We're supposed to be getting like a weekend of freezing rain.
That's great.
Like pummeled, apparently.
Yeah, I heard someone in my last period talking about like weather, maybe shutting down work again. Like
what?
Shutting down their work.
Oh, yeah.
With weather. Yeah,
it's going to be... your brother still has 4 basketball games this weekend so far, unless things get crazy.
You get to drive around and all that.
It's not super far. I mean, it could be hours away, and it's like 40 minutes away. So all things considered,
I guess
not the worst.
I guess so.
But I feel pretty good. I've got 2 drinks. So I got a hot drink and a cold drink that I'm excited to consume in the next probably 90 minutes we're down here.
Bare minimum, I would say.
I think that's right. I don't know. Under 90 minutes is tough for us.
Don't say it's going to be a quick one because it won't be.
It won't be. I always think that. I think this is notable. Neither of us are wearing black t-shirts tonight.
That is interesting.
I don't know if that's happened.
Mine's better though.
Yeah. Raptors?
Yours doesn't even
not
make
great.
Sense.
Yeah. Well, yours is a thing, I guess. But anyways. I don't know. Shall we get into talking about wrestling?
I suppose.
All right, let's do it. First thing we always do, we'll go through some of the from last Saturday to now's wrestling news and rumors. This week's NXT, 741,000 viewers, up 9.6% and earned a 0.16 in the key demographic, up 6.7, best in both categories since?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, so February 25th? Month ago? Dynamite, 663,000 viewers, pretty much the same, up less than 1%, earned a 0.17, that's down 10.5%, but for audience total, it's second best since, a little more meaningful.
2 months ago.
November 13th of last year.
Was that something?
I mean, it's not nothing.
I guess by definition.
Yeah. My news, you pulled your news first and told me it was sparse, and then I went in for the leftovers. So I'm going to tell you the last 2, it's just because they made me laugh. I don't know if they're news or not. But
there is one thing that made me laugh from SmackDown, which I told you about, which I might mention if I can segue it, because I'll probably forget by the time we get to Highspots, and also I don't care enough about SmackDown.
That is also true. So I say go for it whenever you want.
But anyways, the biggest news was Gail Kim's been fired from TNA.
And people are not happy about it.
It's said to be unanimously unpopular. One talent said a result they'd be leaving when their contract is up. Many are scared for their jobs. And new head of creative. Have you seen who it is?
I don't think I have.
It's a former wrestler.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. It's a former ROH wrestler. I don't think he's been in TNA. And it's a very random choice. It's someone you would have been watching when they had that renaissance in like 2021-ish.
When I was reviewing it?
Yeah.
Please don't go find those.
You would have seen
I don't think they were good podcasts.
You would have seen him. I'm pretty sure he was still kicking about in that period.
Who was?
It's a very
Delirious.
Weird, it is Delirious.
Oh my God, I'm good at this.
It is Delirious. Which I thought it was just so random.
No, I think the reason I guess him is because I think I've heard he's like a... I don't know, booker, whatever, a mind. Like a wrestling mind.
Chris Park, whatever.
Yeah.
Or to do a bit, like that kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. And I've seen people saying when TNA just rebranded, remember they had like Ospreay and Okada kicking about before they signed with AEW, and Okada, he had the matches with Machine Guns and he kissed the ring man, and people were calling that a kiss of death because after that, D'Amore got fired. They've lost like Alexander, Machine Gun, Speedball, Jordan Grace.
Okada.
And everything's gone to crap, and it was like that's his payback for the Okada shit.
That's
he went through in like 2011. I mean, they're not wrong because TNA's kind of gone in the gutter.
No, I mean, but they also on the flip side, they will not die.
They probably
They will
not.
never die. They will
will not
outlast
die.
WWE somehow.
I've seen them.
Right?
I think I saw James Storm say he wouldn't be surprised if WWE bought them. I don't think so. I feel like they're just gonna cling on to the apocalypse like a cockroach
Forever.
and then lead the wrestling renaissance when WWE burns down somehow.
I think so too.
Like Triple H is gonna get caught in some scandal like Vince, and then they're gonna go down, and TNA will be the thriving power for the first time
Imagine
ever.
That would be.
I mean,
It's a new world order.
Honestly, I think they were doing decent, like better as Impact because they were never
They have their moments.
losing a million people and all these turnovers and crap. But I mean,
and then you make an agreement with another company, and sure, you're getting exposure, and in the long run, maybe it's good for you, but they are just going to take
Pillage
whoever.
they're gonna pillage them as bad as AEW's done to New Japan. And
They're
people
going
want
to take whoever they want.
People want to complain about that,
That's
but
fair.
it's on both sides of the
That's
fence. AEW is like killed off New Japan, and WWE's gonna do the same to TNA.
Yep.
That's to even suggest that TNA is on the level of New Japan, which it isn't, but it's to the same effect, really.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, it's certainly interesting. And
it is.
I mean, they did get rid of more, but at least that means we get to go to MLP shows. So.
That's right. Tickets. Oh, that's something we didn't banter about.
Yeah.
We were just saying, like, even for us, that was terrible banter.
That was sad.
But I did book tickets for MLP today. Almost ideal seats. I was texting you because
It was front row, so I'm not complaining at all.
But front row, not floor.
Oh wait, really? Oh, okay.
So you know how it's the floor?
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
then the section there. That's what
like
I
that.
want.
I like that.
Because I don't like the floor that much.
Well, and it's like I also don't want to have to be on camera like a ton and have to like.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know if we're hard camera or not.
I just don't want to look like I'm not enjoying myself, which I will look like that.
But relatively, there's
rest assured.
Remember, we were like we'd sit anywhere in this place because we've been.
Is it at Rebel? No, it's at
Madamy.
Right. Where did we? What did we do there? Have we been there before?
AEW, I think. No.
Is it? I don't know.
But remember, we were like, there's no real bad seat. So if we're in that front row, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Very
that's
much.
a good venue for them then. If Dynamite ran there.
And I think so. I think you'll recognize
it. If it's
it.
the Marley's place, then yeah, that's where Dynamite.
I was gonna say it's one of the times we were annoyed by parking, but that's like doesn't narrow it down.
That doesn't really.
It's like that's
like
almost literally every time.
You might as well have just said welcome to Toronto.
We went to Toronto for wrestling. Yeah, that doesn't narrow it down.
We went to Toronto for wrestling. We didn't enjoy the parking. Or you could just say we went to Toronto for something, because like we had a worse time trying to park for KG Elephant.
That is true. That was the worst of the
That
worst.
was the worst one I think I've experienced in terms of us going to things, because we've been to what? It was first Dynamite.
Bunch of stuff.
It just in terms of major stuff in Toronto recently, I think it was. I guess we've been to. We'll count the Impact tapings. We've been to first Dynamite in Toronto, second Dynamite in Toronto, Forbidden Door.
Yep.
Jack White, KG Elephant. KG Elephant was pretty bad. Luckily, we didn't care, but again, the openers. Otherwise, it would have been.
We caught like 3 of their songs.
We still caught some of it, but I also didn't care if I didn't.
They did their things well, but I don't care for those things.
Yeah. That's could apply to some wrestlers too.
It does. It for sure does. So there's banter part 2, I guess.
I guess we found it.
I was also gonna take it from SmackDown because we won't really talk about it. The main events are confirmed, and we sort of mentioned one briefly.
It's kind of like a bad news, good news.
Obviously,
good news,
Cena Rose.
Yeah,
that's 100%. That's night 2, I assume.
Yeah, it is 100%. You're ending on Cena winning,
and then night 1, a dream is realized that you're not happy about.
A dream that's
me
not
either,
mine.
but you more so.
Yeah, it's Mr. Chicago Phil is in the main event.
Officially.
Bad news, he's in the main event. Good news, Jey Uso's not.
Also good news.
There's a silver lining.
I like to think the fact that it's not for a title leaves Punk unsatisfied. If that helps you.
It could be.
Like, I don't think
he didn't win the Rumble. He didn't get the title.
But I just think for him, when he thought about, I need to main event Mania.
He wanted to, main event when he was champion or
it's
win the Rumble.
Title.
And, I could see that.
I hope.
But at the same time, I feel like main eventing when it's just a feud like that now is also kind of a feather in your cap. So it kind of depends on how you look at it.
I will say, I guess I'll bring it up now, because why not? It's probably when the most people are listening at the beginning. I feel like Rollins is kind of not stapled on, but he's not the focus.
Which I feel like he should. I feel like the focus should be him and Roman.
I don't disagree, but it feels like
it's because there's the Heyman dynamic.
Through our lens, maybe not the truth, but could be the truth. I think somebody of the 3 is making sure that he's right.
And Roman's Roman. Not even saying like that's Roman doing things, but it's Roman.
He's Roman.
Right. And to me, I'm not going to deny that the triple threat doesn't make sense. I think it makes perfect sense.
Kind of not.
And I think it's kind of cool doing a 3-way feud like that because they all have grudges with each other, and I do like it. But at the end of the day, I would much rather an inner Shield match than
I agree.
this.
The theme of the day when I get to Raw is going to be like, as I was doing my watching and thinking, like, I'm not super happy about a lot of builds to this. I'm not saying there won't be good matches, but I don't.
I've seen some complaints about the build, yeah.
Of several things.
I think the only build I'm personally excited for is Cena and Cody because I think Cena's been awesome.
Yeah, we'll for sure talk about Cena.
But other than that, like, Jey Uso and Gunther has been horrible.
Like, so long.
Drew and Priest seems kind of boring from what I've looked
I'm not
at.
up on that one. I can't really say.
I feel like the build to the Intercontinental match is kind of interesting. That one's pretty solid.
It's not bad.
I know there's like multiple things going on, so it's kind of more interesting. If we're building the Fatu and LA Knight, I'm always interested in Fatu.
Of course. And I don't know much.
I keep tabs on him.
Again, don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, I always keep tabs on him. The women's triple threat is horribly built.
I'm not enjoying it.
So stupid. The other women's match is also pretty horribly built because it's babyface Stratton and Charlotte.
I know. I hear that's not going
well.
well.
And I think Charlotte like cooked her in their promo thing the other week. What else is even on the card? Like, not all those matches sound bad. It's just the builds have been like pretty.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Atrocious. Like, what else even?
We may enjoy the 2 days, but
are we setting up AJ Styles and Logan Paul?
I think.
Which could be again a good match, but I'm not even 100% sure on that.
Do we need more people in the ladder match that we think is happening?
I would rather put them in the ladder matches because I think it'd be more interesting.
Stick them in there.
I feel like we could also get Gable and Ray in a mask versus mask. I've heard rumors of that. Americana. I don't know why Gable would be there.
Yeah, why would Gable be there?
I don't know.
What are you even doing?
I don't know. Which that one's actually probably.
Well, Pierce did sign him.
Yeah. And apparently they used AI for his package, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, did they ever?
Like, that's insane. I hate that so much.
They definitely did.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, in general, the Mania build, I'm not... Like, is there any matches I'm missing that they're trying to...
Not that I am, like, sure are firmed up yet. And some of those aren't either, right? But
yeah, like...
Certainly
are we even doing anything for the tag titles? Doesn't feel like it. Because at least last year, remember they were setting up the multi-team ladder match where they split the titles? They haven't set up like...
I think Viking Raiders got a package this week.
That's what I was going to ask you, is the way you'll know for Raw is, has the Viking Raiders set up with anything at all?
I think they just had a package this week. I don't know if
are they teasing a feud with them, with anyone?
I don't think so.
Exactly.
But there's
could be the Profits.
Hey, my memory is not.
That's true, but you also would be seeing recently, I feel like.
If it was on enough, I would certainly know.
The Profits just won their belts too, so they don't unless they're doing a rematch with DIY or like. I feel like they're just gonna jumble in some random
Do you think
team matches
I
again?
guess I was gonna be like,
Which
will they even
sucks
have a tag match? But I guess in 2 nights you have to.
Yeah.
New Day. Sorry. New Day won a title shot. Pierce told them this week they need to beat somebody first.
That feels like
a
Raw match, though.
True.
Like, it doesn't feel like a
couple weeks.
Like, there's to build that in a couple weeks. I feel like we should be setting up tag title matches already, which is kind of the thing.
Of course, in a
which
perfect
sucks
world, but
because 2 years ago we had Usos versus Owens and Zayn, which is like my favorite match of that weekend. And
that's right.
Also was perfectly built. And then last year, even the ladder match was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But now it's like I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Pete Dunne was in that.
Miss him.
Love him.
Doesn't look like he's on any pace for Mania anything.
No.
Unless they do the Battle Royal. We got to fill that in.
They do that on like the SmackDown before now. That doesn't even make the card.
Awesome. I don't think it should, so that's fine. I think it's you?
Yeah. Unfortunate news is Mariah May's contract is rumored to be expiring this summer.
That makes me nervous.
I don't like
Although Tony has deep pockets too, so to be fair, I feel like if they're smart, the contract offers monetarily will be comparable, and like they can say that
creative control and like I feel like May's style.
I don't even know creative control, but AEW, she knows that they're going to pay attention to her.
That's true.
Because she is not lost in the shuffle yet. No. Doesn't mean she won't be, but she got a huge story and a big title run.
Like her first year, it was insane. We already talked about that. Plug the best of.
She knows that at least, right? But
I agree. You know you're gonna get sucked.
We hope she stays. We prefer Dynamite.
Whereas I feel like in WWE they might see her as another because she kind of like Stratton or like another one of those blondes.
And the cupboard is full in NXT too, right? So They don't need to be super. Although they would pay her so much, they would probably do something with her. But
Yeah. They need to take
I would think.
as much as I'd love him in AEW, I want Walking Weapon to go to NXT.
I wish he'd just show up somewhere at this point.
Bolster them since AEW got Speedball, and then I want the North.
Or he shows
Buy the
up,
rights to that theme song.
He shows up as Speedball's backup. That'd be fun.
But I'd rather see the North.
Yeah, me too. But either option is cool, kind of.
See, in this world, you either got to give me the North back together or Aussie Open, and I don't think we're getting Aussie Open since Fletcher's on the rise.
Correct.
So I'll take the North.
And Mark Davis
Thank you.
looked amazing last week, not so much this
He
week.
looked amazing last week, is all I'll say.
Full stop.
He looked great last week.
So I'm sure you noticed the sudden change in the tag team challengers, right? Because we're kind of like you, I'm sure, more than me. Where did Cage and Archer go? Because we were on that path and then we jumped the rails.
Okay. That's starting to make sense now.
So Cage apparently injured on an indie show facing former WWE superstar.
Sion Quinn.
Super jacked in WWE, less jacked now.
Chris Adonis.
Correct.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So that apparently is what's up with Cage. I don't know. I didn't see recovery time or seriousness or anything
Just
like
give him
that.
some repair parts.
So rest
He's a
up,
machine.
come back ready to drill claw at least half the time.
5 people.
Yeah.
I think.
Because stop not doing that.
Stop not doing that. Very well said.
Yeah, that's the t-shirt this week.
Have you seen title matches announced for TNA Rebellion?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This is fun.
One of them's not interesting 'cause it's just Moose defending an Ultimate X, which is kind of odd for him. I feel like he'll lose probably.
It's a way for sure to have him who else
But no
is in
one's
it?
announced yet. It's just that's it. That's why it's not
It'll
very
be like
interesting right now.
the Good Hands.
Great. The Great Hands.
I was just going to say they're called something else now.
The Great Hands.
That's right.
And then the tag title match is the Hardys against another great tag team.
It's not Alexander's kids
Who?
that we saw on the indie show. We'll get there.
Oh, Sinner and Saint.
Sinner and
It is
Saint.
not. That would actually be kind of cool. It is not them because they're with Eric Young now.
Is it Myers and Edwards?
It is not. It's maybe worse. I don't know.
Whoa, come on now.
It depends on how you look at it because one of them's
You know how I look at it, so
One
if
of
you're
them
saying maybe
sucks.
worse. One of them sucks?
I mean, I don't think you really care for either of them at this point.
At this point. Eric Young.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, I have to give up.
the Nemeths.
Oh, yes, of course.
Because one
Heels,
of them's
right?
very notable, but they both kind of suck now.
And the other one's relevant, right? More relevant right now.
Yeah, because
Maybe little brother.
some lawsuit thing. I don't know.
Legal business.
I don't actually understand it. I also don't care. So
The first of my two funny ones that are going to end it. The headline. Mandy Rose feels she's been erased from WWE. Yeah, that's kind of what they do. Unless you're like huge and they can still make money off you. Like,
I don't know how that works.
kind of, right? Like, sorry, is this surprising? The company that I chose to leave
Or
when
that
they
fire
still
me
wanted
or
me,
whatever.
whatever happened, I think she left.
No, because wasn't
Oh,
she was
no.
doing some fan site thing and
That's
they didn't
right.
like it, so they got rid of her.
Yeah. Surprising, it's like I've been erased. Oh, you're the first one.
My favorite
should
thing
pre-
was
you should go after that. Pull that thread.
she got mad at Stratton for using some catchphrase of hers that's like super generic. Like it was something else that's like equally funny and stupid. I don't remember what it was.
So that one made me laugh, and then if you have
it was
more,
something else equally funny.
I
That
have another headline too. That's funny.
WWE to further pillage TNA
We just said that.
is reportedly interested in taking Hammerstone. And I mean,
Obviously.
I don't know why they wouldn't be.
And then build a time machine and go back to 1987 and
Have him
he's
fight the
champion
Warlord.
forever.
Yeah, he's built like Warlord when he came back roided out and bald.
Yeah, he's but he has some cool moves.
The
looks a bit
Nightmare
awkward.
Pendulum is
Cool.
almost as cool as the Duroclaw.
He's so big he almost looks awkward sometimes, but
Yeah,
he is not bad. That's
he would
funny.
be a cool guy for them. I feel like they could use him in like the North American scene
Though for sure they
at
could.
the very least.
My last one that made me laugh too. Ric Flair. Did you hear what he declared? Declared.
I feel like I've seen him say things. I don't remember what.
First of all, yeah, I like that the headline is he declared Charlotte Flair might be the best wrestler in the wrestling business right now. So he declared that she might be. I just kind of like the idea. I do declare.
that she might be, and like
She might be.
It's like he doesn't want us commit to that either because he's not popular or because he doesn't want to like.
Should one declare mites in general?
No.
I just feel like they shouldn't. I feel like that's.
I feel like that's extremely contradictory.
Right. And I was just like, what a shock. Yeah. That Ric Flair says his daughter is the best wrestler in wrestling.
I could think of at least 5 I think are better.
Made me laugh. Anyways, that's all I have.
WWE, the last one I have is they're inducting now matches into the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
which is apparently something UFC does. So I think it's kind of stupid. Other people
Do you have nominees by any chance?
The first one that we have, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to guess. Don't tell me.
Okay. They're calling them immortal moments, just in case you thought it wasn't dumb.
You mentioned that.
I think it is actually, if they're going to do this is a reasonable choice. I will say that.
Steamboat Macho.
No, but at least you're thinking Mania matches.
Hogan, Andre.
No.
Oh.
You're in the ballpark in terms of notoriety, I think.
In terms of notoriety?
You're just too early.
Hogan Warrior?
That's also too early.
Hogan. Early?
Not even Hogan. It's not Hogan.
Too early? Oh, Rock Austin?
Close?
Rock Hogan.
No.
Oh, you said no
Colder.
Hogan. Colder. Rock Austin.
You're right there.
Close. Rock?
No.
Austin?
Yeah.
Austin Mankind? No.
That's dumb.
I'm going colder.
That's way colder. Especially in terms of wrestler,
Rock
that's so much colder.
Warm.
That's pretty warm. Especially in terms of time period, if that's really close. No.
Imagine that's the first message.
No, there's no way they would do that. You're so close.
What's big in there? Austin. If it's not
really
Austin,
big around that time.
It's not Austin. Triple H?
No.
Imagine he did that.
You're a little colder.
Rock is warm, so
Rock Austin is pretty warm.
So Austin blank is warmer.
Yeah, I would say so, yes.
Taker. Who's big
Come
then?
on, like one of his biggest matches ever.
Oh, Bret Hart?
Yes.
Oh,
that's the one.
Wow, that slipped my mind.
Yeah.
I was too late for a while there.
You were too early and then you were too late. But like Rock Austin, it was close because that's 2 years after. Their first match was 2 years after.
Okay, good for Bret Hart, I guess.
I think that's a reasonable. Apparently, they'll both be in attendance, so you can get a speech from both of them, I guess, which will be great.
See why you do the trivia?
Yeah.
I take longer to get to one match than you'll do 20 hard questions.
That's like, and I think, even though I think it's kind of goofy, it's a reasonable pick, I suppose.
It's more reasonable than a lot of things for sure.
Than their Slammies.
Absolutely. All right, that ends the news. That was kind of fun news today, even though it was a week, as they say. We will now go into our most in-depth review every week. It's taking a look at Wednesday night's Dynamite. I finish my coffee, you talk about Dynamite, then I switch to cold drinks. Go.
That is true.
How did we feel about last week? Sorry,
we really liked it because remember it was match.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That helps me.
It was a great one.
That helps me. It was very enjoyable.
It was. So we start off with Kenny Omega versus Blake Christian. Because when Omega came back, I was like, who do I want him to face? Yeah, that's right. Takeshita, Brian Cage, Blake Christian
with
Big Shotty.
Thank you. I feel like you were just.
Which I thought was weird because I thought he was teaming with EJ and Duka on ROH.
Duka?
They're Lee J, but whatever. Christian, so it's weird. They're both on the apron. He hits a spear, but on the spear, he like dives through the ropes back inverted. In the ring. I was like, that was kind of sick.
It was.
And then he does a suicide dive where he goes upside down. Like it's like almost a Fosbury flop through the ropes. I was like, that's
the
crazy.
One story I was thinking where he does it and then ends up flipping upside down.
And I was just like,
it's cool.
Whoa. He goes for a handspring back elbow, gets caught with a knee to the back and neck from Omega. It kind of reminds me of the greatest match ever where Ospreay goes for the Oz cutter and he just gets Omega just knees him in the back and the neck.
Did you watch that on TV?
Did
you watch that on TV the first time? Greatest match ever?
No, I was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was too.
There. I wasn't even drunk.
No, no, you were not. That guy was drunk enough for all of us.
Yeah.
Ever.
Snapdragon Jones.
That's right. It was very snappy too.
Yeah, a couple of those, and then cross-legged patella drop brainbuster, aka cross-legged sushi guroshi, if you will. Before the run-up and a V-trigger, one-winged angel, Omega puts it away pretty quickly. After the match, he grabs the mic, says he doesn't get the chance to wrestle every week like he wants to, but when he does, and he promises to make it quick, Tony Khan signs on the dotted line. He talks about Dynasty and having to contend with two dudes. One of those dudes comes out. It's the karate guy.
Yeah, it is. It's your small-town karate instructor.
Yeah, and he cuts a promo as you would expect him to. He says Omega is an inspiration and he respects and admires him, but Dynasty won't hold anything back. He won't hesitate to kick his head off to take the title.
It's not very nice.
Then Omega gets cut off by Ricochet on the Tron. He's getting married, so he's not there. He says he's dressed for the best day of his life. And yeah, until he said this will be the best day of his life until the day he wins the title. So real shout out to Samantha Irvin there.
I was just gonna say she's gonna love to hear that.
Yeah.
I guess he's a heel. So
yeah.
Good heel work.
At Dynasty, it's inevitable he'll leave with the girl and the gold. He disappears. Omega congratulates him. He
disappears.
Yeah, it's not about making friends, as he is a cat and he doesn't need more. He says Bailey may be a good guy and Ricochet is a piece of garbage, but neither of them are his comrade, and the only thing he has time for is the belt on his shoulder and his legacy. He says, consider Dynasty another step on his legacy. He welcomes people to AEW and does his sign-off thingy-majiggy.
Yeah, I guess match first. I thought it was
pretty short and straightforward.
And I thought it was like showcase for Christian for like 2/3, and then Omega does his thing.
In that small window,
I
thought he impressed me. He made the most of his short time.
I think that's it.
I thought he had some solid heel work, basic, but like at least notable. And then the couple moves he pulled off were super sick and unique, and it kind of reminded me in a way of AR Fox. Not like that they are the same, but just in that like
they do
it
things
was super unique.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where do you come up with that?
It seems like they have a unique take on different things. So
right, like the upside down, the switch into suicide dive, even doing the spear on the apron a little differently. Like it just it comes across as different, and so it kind of reminds me of.
And I've seen a bunch of him, and this is him working heel, which I don't think is like.
I think it's weird.
It's a bit hard for him.
But then again, I'm not super well versed on him because I've barely seen him outside of WWE, and he was in WWE for briefly.
What was his name?
Trey Baxter.
Thank you. Dating Cora Jade.
He used to be, I think it was.
In the she of the cardboard skateboard.
And she was the one with Braun Breaker, but now it's Izzy Dame.
Right. The promo was quick, simple, straightforward, I thought.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of got the ball rolling.
I know people will for sure rip on Bailey's promo style. I've seen enough of it that I've settled into where like I think it's unique, and I kind of, because he doesn't sound like anybody else, and I'm sure to some that's like it's because he's bad. But I don't find him bad. I think I'm just
I don't think he's bad. I do think he's awkward, but like
he is awkward, but it becomes endearing at a point.
I do think he's endearing because he just seems like a run of the mill dude, and so I like him. He sounds like he usually does, so he's fine. And it's crazy that Ricochet is the best part of the promo.
A really good obnoxious.
I think he's found his voice as a character, and he was able to stand on his own feet here without swerve.
His wedding suit was.
I thought his outfit was super obnoxious. Yeah, it was great.
But it also because I think that's his actual wedding suit.
I do think so, yeah, which is interesting.
At least in my mind.
But like, it is kind of obnoxious. It reminds me of my favorite was 2021 heel Nick Jackson. And he would just do the most stupid shit with his look.
Oh, yeah, you love that.
Like having his hair that weird off brown color, or the handlebar mustache being spray painted. Or that one time, I think it was when they teamed with Adam Cole. It was like I think it was Full Gear, and they had the Falls Canyon where trios match against Christian and Jurassic Express.
Mm-hmm.
And they all wore pink, but then they also spray painted their mustaches pink.
Awesome.
And it was just like the prime heel Bucks was awesome, just because they were so good at looking stupid.
The way you described Nick Jackson, it feels like Lexus King went for all of it in one shot, and
Nick Jackson cultivated over time.
Put it phases in.
I think so
and
too.
And King went, I'm gonna do everything all at once.
And also, I think he went too on the nose with it, like his beard. Like his beard's too much.
It's not. When he's a heel, it's amazing.
That's true. But like with Nick Jackson, remember, because the Bucks started out looking normal as heel, they grew up beards, and they like went to the mustaches, but then like 1 week they were clean shaven, and they would just have the stupidest looks, and I loved it so much.
Didn't they keep adding things to their headbands too?
Yeah, they had like elaborate. The most garish headbands. Like it was just Oh, I loved Prime Heel Bucks. That was such a good time. But yeah, like Ricochet, I think he's tapped into it. I think he's great. And it gets the ball rolling on this build. This show is sooner than I thought, though, because that's not next weekend, but I think or is it this weekend? I think it might be.
No.
Is April 6th this weekend?
No.
No, right? Is it the week after?
We're at the 28th right now. Well, 29th when you people see this.
Is that not to say that viewers. April 6th is
this coming?
April 6th, yeah. This coming Sunday. So we have one more Dynamite.
Okay.
That's weird, actually. That feels strange to me.
Yeah.
It feels like feels like it snuck up on us. I don't know. Anyways, that's strange. Speaking of Dynasty, we're gonna waste a match slot. Here's Jericho.
I was just gonna say, as someone who listens back to the show, good chunks of it, I feel like we find things to talk about before a learning tree. Like we're like,
I almost every time, and this was subconscious too, completely subconscious.
You're just like, let's talk about anything else for longer.
Yeah.
But nope, here it is.
He's talking to Big Bill and Keith about he keeps telling them to prove themselves and they suck or something. Basically. So they leave. Like he's like, you guys suck, stop sucking. I'm telling you to not suck.
It's about time because I'm so awesome, you should be awesome by now.
Yeah, do better.
If you keep sucking, it's probably your fault.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Is this implying that the Jericho Vortex isn't helping people?
And
is that what we're trying to imply?
Love Bandito. This is another feud that's kind of dragging out. I don't know. Let's start trying because I'm glad they're putting Bandito in something important. I say that loosely, but you know what I mean.
Important.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. He said Bandito got Grouty's mask back, but he wants Bandito's mask. So title versus mask of Dynasty. Blah, 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 blah.
You were annoyed that it's Dynasty. I remember.
Moment. It's stupid because I'm all for this group splitting. I don't need it to be a whole angle though.
You would be.
I just want them to split. Too. But like, here's the thing: if we're to take this seriously for a moment,
let's.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say I'm Brian Keith and you're Big Bill.
Fair.
If we're to legitimately consider if being Jericho's worth it, we'd just be gone. Because it's not worth it. Okay,
he's basically giving them their argument for them.
Pretty much.
Like, since you've joined me, you guys have done absolutely
and it hasn't helped you one iota.
It's like a light bulb goes off and like, oh yeah, you're right.
It's like the group splitting, but he's giving them the motivation to do it. It's like they suck so much, he's telling them why they're splitting or something.
So he's like telling on himself.
Like, name one thing that's made Brian Keith has been better since he joined.
He's been the same in-ring, which is good, and worse everywhere else. I think some
except
people
for the Ospreay match.
Like the shtick he gets, though.
I hate it. Hate it so much. And then Big Bill, the only thing he did that was notable was the Hobbs feud, which was him getting away from Jericho.
But yeah, Jericho's going, here's the reason you should just leave.
Yeah. I would argue the times, like, from the start of the Learning Tree run to now, the times I've liked Bill and Keith the most are when they kind of separate a bit.
Is the story that Jericho goes too far with them, they kind of cost Jericho the title, and then they go with Bandito, and that's a trio, like a group?
No, that's weird. I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe? I'm calling it now.
I don't want to
calling my shot.
Pun intended, I don't want to saddle Bandito with that.
I mean, no, but it's a lot of attention for him.
Yeah. The match being made with Bandito is fine, but it makes no sense for it to be on Dynasty. It's a waste of a spot, opposed to waiting until Super Card of Honor, which I think is usually in April. I don't know because who cares about ROH? But it's also an ROH show where this build or feud for the ROH title should be, because it's for the ROH title.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Bill and Keith turn. I don't know, and I also
feel
don't
like
really
maybe
care.
Because is Jericho gonna be willing to lose clean to Bandito?
I don't know.
Not the Jericho in my mind.
Maybe he thinks that'll elevate Bandito.
Yeah, but I think it's shenanigans and by the underlings.
Sure, as long as they put that storyline on ROH.
I think we put more thought into it than they have at this point.
I would be inclined to agree. Then we get MJF giving his answer to Montel Vontavious Porter.
I found this strange too, but
I still think it's weird.
Like, well done, but weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He trashes Prince and says Michael Jackson's better, which is probably true. He mocks the Minnesota accent, tells people to shut up. He says he's been looking at the business card for the last 2 weeks, so he invites MVP out, and he comes by himself. He said after what happened with Adam Cole, actually, he complimented the Kane first.
He did.
He says after what happened with Adam Cole, he claimed he was never going to have friends again. He says he knows that with MVP, he doesn't do friends either because he does business. He's decided he would like to be in the business of hurting people. He wanted a handshake. MVP hesitates. Lashes and Shelty come out in good old suits. And it's like MVP's got cool shades. Shelty's got cool shades. Lashes has glasses.
I thought he looked cool.
Weird. He did, but like
it made it
look weird because I think he should have been in shades.
But I think it made the nose to nose with MJF better because you could see his eye. Like, and in theory, MJF could see his eyes because he's the one that got in his face.
But I think it'd be cool if he took them off then.
Yeah,
if
that's
he had
true.
Shades.
He could do that.
You could like do the
Yeah, that's fair. Or we like I could see Ricochet doing it, but they flip up because they're those obnoxious. Like that would be what
I would love to see that.
Like Shawn Michaels had, I think, right?
That would be funny if he was in the Hurt Syndicate. They all have their sunglasses and he just has the
eventually he's like the dork in with the super cool guys.
Yeah,
might be kind of funny.
I think they could have done that, but
Not
anyways,
yet. They still could.
They still could. Lashley confronts MJF. Yeah, he kind of gets in his face, tells him to give him the card. He glances over to Benjamin, who shakes his head. Then he rips up the card, and they surround MJF. So MVP kind of calms them down, and MJF leaves. Now the Learning Tree guys come out, because why?
Right.
Keith said they weren't there to join their group therapy session. Big Bill said he sees them with the tag titles, but he doesn't see a challenger. MVP immediately says, me neither. Like, this was hilarious to me.
He's good.
Bill said he can't tell if he's American Psycho or Iceberg Slim. MVP said he'll make them both their bitches. And Bill said MVP was their bitch, referring to Lashes and Shelton. Yeah, and MVP claimed they were the bitches.
So many.
The women's roster is shook right now.
It's like, oh yeah, that's right. What is it? The hold my beer, and then they just.
It's like
we can get 8 in 90 seconds.
No, it's like 10 pounds of bitch in a 5-pound bag.
It really was.
Or it's like the you're stupid. It's like, no, you.
Yes. Are you dumb or are you stupid?
Bill said he was never pinned or submitted for the titles because his partner lost to Sting. Whom?
That's a burn. That's what I said. Who is his partner?
Ricky Starks. I feel like AEW is ignoring me.
You know what that made me think of that's really funny to me? And I wish we'd thought of it, but I forget. Again, I always want to give credit, but I don't remember who it was. You know what their name for Billy Starks is every time they call
Billy Starks?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure you got that
every time they use her name now.
Sure.
It might be Smart Wrestling Fan, probably. They just call her Billy Saints.
That's funny.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's a good one.
Sorry.
Bill said he's going to take his rematch and they're going to take the titles. MVP told them to win a match, which is very valid. And they'll get a title opportunity.
That's right. Here you go. I got an idea. But I guess the point is Jericho sent them out to do things, so they're now doing things. And it's like, you don't deserve to do things because of him. You're so terrible.
I wonder if this is a placeholder because the murder machines are not there.
That's right.
I thought this was all right. MVP and MJF are both great on the mic, so like I can't fault them and their quality. I'm just not feeling the angle. MJF accepting makes sense, and I'm glad Shelty and Lashes shut it down because that's what I prefer.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what the point was, other than for the Syndicate boys not to be on the same page, which feels way too soon and too unnecessary for that to be the case. They do handle it later, which I actually really did like, so we'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it was just a weird bump in the road. I groaned when the Learning Tree boys came out, but man, I felt bad for Big Bill because he just got cooked by MVP at every turn. Like, he'll say something and MVP takes barely a second to reply. Like, I was dying because he'll scorch Bill in a second. It was vicious.
And it's like, the fact that and also like adds to it is the fact that like he's so good at that, but he's also backed up by those two guys, so he can do that as freely and as often as he wants. He
can basically say that to whoever he wants, right?
Right. And with those two guys behind him, what are you gonna do?
Like, it was like, I thought MVP made this segment for me just off of that because I thought it was hilarious. Can't say I need to see Bill and Keith get a title match, especially not on Dynasty.
But now we see it's a sudden reverse.
I feel like it could be, yeah.
It is.
I just don't want it to be on Dynasty.
I thought that Bill and Keith immediately were cooler without Jericho with them.
I thought that too, but then MVP started roasting them, and I think they were not cool.
But this is just, like a true placeholder challenger because they weren't even plan A.
I guarantee they weren't.
But again, like, I'm going to keep saying it every week until somebody
was Outrunners at the pay-per-view plan B and were Murder Machine supposed to be? No, because
plan C. We're at plan C.
I don't know.
Maybe. But like, start building another team to be a big rival to these guys.
Honestly, just because they were on the show, even if they lose, I'd like to see Top Flight get a good shot because I think they're pretty entertaining.
My ideal would be FTR.
I agree.
Like, in a lengthy
but I'm not sure where that's going, though.
That's just about
I'm not sure where they're going.
Who's better.
Honestly, I'd be even okay with the Bucks if they come back. I don't want them to win.
They may put themselves there, but I don't know.
I'm okay with that. As long as they don't win, I'd love to see the Bucks face them. I think that'd be a great match.
It's a nice styles contrast.
I agree.
Not that Shelty can't fly around too, but
he doesn't like
Lashes isn't.
Shelton doesn't even really anymore. I think he's still great, and honestly, he's awesome.
Why fly around when you can hit a high knee like that?
Why fly around when you can super kick people like that?
There's no reason to do anything else.
Yeah. I think the Bucks would be a cooler styles contrast.
Yeah.
So if they come back as faces, I'd like to see them. As long as they don't win, because they don't need that. It'd be like if you gave Tony Storm the belt for no reason again.
You wouldn't, though.
No.
Never.
That doesn't happen. Speak of the devil, it's Thunderstorm in an interview.
Nope.
Yeah, I know. Storm talked about how they would beat Bane and Ford later because that's our main event. Why?
That's tough.
Rosa mentioned the team name being Thunderstorm. Nope, it's Thunder Tits.
Yep. And then Rosa just goes basically, yep, and then calls it that the rest of the night.
Yeah, it's not great.
Even though she seems annoyed in this moment, I think.
She did.
Right.
I'm not a huge Rosa fan, but she's like totally right in pointing out how like she's like everything's changed and Storm's like no, but yeah, Storm's a caricature now, so it's totally true.
It's really hard.
But then she looks stupid for having to deal with this.
Saying.
And again, we're no Rosa fans.
We're
but
not.
I still think she looks stupid for this. And then it's not her fault. It's just one of the multiple things crippling this gimmick. And the Thunder Tits thing is so stupid. Like
I thought Rosa.
I'm sorry, it's just dumb.
I thought Rosa actually, and again, we're no fans. Actually showed a bit of personality here, but then it's like
you just can't.
You look silly because of the way you were forced to interact with Toni Storm.
And can we point out how bad this build is? Because Bane still hasn't said a word.
I know. And yet she's supposed to be a believable challenger.
I think based on her in-ring prowess, she's believable, but that's obviously in kayfabe, I think she's believable because she's killer. But
in real life, zero.
Yeah.
Chance.
Right.
Like, all my certainty score.
Yeah.
Almost said
that might have to be my top one, honestly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's tough. Like that's what we're saying with Storm. It's hard to play off of her.
I agree. Kyle Fletcher versus Brody King is next. I'm not sure how we lucked into this on free TV, but I'm not complaining.
I love both of these guys.
It feels like a match we got in the C2, but we didn't because they were in different leagues.
Yeah. I know heavy hitters usually reserved for like big dudes, but I'd say Fletcher's a heavy hitter, man.
Yeah, and I love him. He has his entrance pants. He pretends to take them off, but he cheap shots King, stomps in the corner. Then he does the Angel Garza gimmick.
He did.
And taunts the crowd before King chops him with one chop. Carney Jones, because Callis is on commentary.
Right.
I think anytime he did
Taz's hatred for Callis is actually something I pay attention to.
Oh, it's a general commentary thing, but Taz especially, I think it's really funny.
That's true. They all hate him so much.
It's Callis and MJF they have a special disdain for, and I think it's always really
Tony
amazing.
Gets really upset.
He does. Yeah. I always think it's really funny. I saw speaking of commentary, that reminds me, I think it was after the first Cena promo the other week, and Michael Cole went on this like passionate rant about like anti-Cena or whatever, like and I saw someone I think it was some wrestler, it might have been Booker T or something. It was someone like that complaining about how Cole shouldn't be doing that because he's like getting himself in the story. I thought it was great though because like Cole's the company guy and Cena's been this company guy and like he supported him for decades, right?
It feels like JR and Stone Cold.
Right. I like that, but also
I don't have a problem with it.
I'm not going to complain about him enhancing Cena's turn a bit when McAfee detracts from so many things on a weekly basis. So if you're going to talk about commentary getting involved in stuff like that, Cole there was not my problem. I just completely forgot about that. But
and like, even if like
I really liked it, and I thought like him, because you can see he kind of feels hurt by it too, and so I think he kind of serves as like a POV for the fans, and I really liked it.
And if anyone deserves the right to be part of the story or do that kind of thing, it's him, because it's believable that he'd have the free reign to kind of do what he wants, right? Because he's like the voice now.
Yeah,
however you feel about it.
Exactly, I really like that. But yeah, that's just the commentary again involved kind of thing. Black Hole Slam from King, a suicide dive from King, a really picture perfect diving elbow from Fletcher for 2.
It looks awesome.
A couple of heavy super kicks on the apron from Fletcher, but then King grabs him, DVD on the apron, now so nasty. Super kick to the back of the head from Fletcher, then he muscles King up like deadlift almost for a stalling tombstone for 2. Really impressive.
Looked
awesome. Fletcher runs for his corner kick, gets clocked by a lariat from King. Looked awesome. King lines up for the cannonball. Mark Davis pulls Fletcher out of the way. And Fletcher does win with the turnbuckle brainbuster. He managed to get King up for that. It looked great. Fletcher and Davis beat down King until Hobbs makes a save, and we'll transition into Hobbs versus Davis right after this.
Of course.
But I thought this was a great TV match. 2 guys I love to watch, and they got a healthy amount of time, so I think they really delivered.
Man. What did they say, 18 minutes?
I think so, which is similar to what the 4-way got last week.
For TV, that's a lot.
I think they delivered. It was quite the slugfest. They worked in some cool things, like Fletcher showed some impressive strength. King's always really fun. The Buckle Buster was great. Fletcher won as expected, but I thought both these guys looked really good, and it felt really quality.
It was one of those, like, knew the outcome, still super enjoyed it.
Yeah, right? And, like, at the end of the day, as much as we love Brody, I think Fletcher is the one with the most upshot here, so I think he's the one you have
for Brody. He's connected with the crowd. I think they need to pull the trigger on him soon, but it didn't have to be
I think him and Murphy are a great tag contender as well, since we were talking about that before.
Yep.
And we just need to build them for once.
That would be awesome. They would be a great team to have.
But this is Fletcher building momentum after the cage match, so this was good, I thought.
If you're going Hurt Syndicate facey, you could have that be, if you put some time into King and Murphy.
I feel like they're the faces though.
You think so? I guess because people
Brody's
love
so
Brody.
over. And like Kurt's
right.
gonna work as heels. They're kind of like the cool heels.
Mm-hmm.
Powerhouse Hobbs versus Mark Davis is up next. We had some security separating the brawl. And
This is what we call burying the lead. The most important thing on this show we don't get to till halfway through the show.
Mr. Von Wagner is all elite.
You know?
Boy, was I happy. It's come Wednesday, dude.
Good for him.
I hope he gets signed.
Imagine.
I would love it just for the meme. Like, I don't like Von Wagner at all. I think he sucks and he's boring, but
bring him in as a commentator because, I mean, he's really just a mouth.
I think
as a mouthpiece for someone.
Do you remember Big Josh from like early 90s WCW?
I
He
do.
should be the reincarnation of that because he's so good at being in the woods and doing things there.
And speaking the English language.
With Kyle O'Reilly. Oh, he could reunite with Kyle O'Reilly.
They could.
I don't even care about Undisputed Era anymore. Let's do
Von
Von Wagner and Kyle
replace
O'Reilly.
the other two.
He could be the new Wardlow.
He can get rid of Taven and Bennett, and he can replace.
They were on the last MLP show, so better watch out.
I mean, we could do worse, I guess.
I just think it'd be funny if you paid to see the Kingdom.
Oh, that's when I get food. That's a snack run, depending who they're facing.
I feel like you'd do it anyways. Basement form smash in the corner from Davis looked pretty sick. Inzaguri from Davis, that's where we had a bit of a botch, and Spinebuster for the win from Hobbs. Like, this was oddly short, and it really sucks because Davis looked awesome last week.
I pretty much
really
what I
odd
said.
call.
Like, I'm all for Hobbs racking up.
And this could have been a really cool Hobbs fight because Davis is awesome.
But Davis looked so good last week.
And then they just
we both like Hobbs. We're not saying anything.
I think his booking since the Takeshita feud has been pretty good. Like, even though he lost to Mox, I thought the build for that was pretty good. I thought his feud with Big Bill was pretty good. Like, I think generally this year he's looked pretty good. And I do like him.
If you had told me something before this went long and they needed to trim like 5 minutes, I would believe you. It felt like it was just getting started, and then it didn't really look like a convincing finisher either. I almost said convinisher. And it was over.
I love the match before, but if you had to shave off a couple minutes from that to put into here, I think that'd be okay.
Me too. 3?
Yeah, right? Like, just to make this a little more worthwhile and not affecting the other match too much. Because I think the other match was really good and honestly probably my favorite of the night.
I felt a little bad for Davis here.
I definitely did. Then we get a Patriarch interview. No Christian, though. It's Nick Wayne doing the bulk of the promo, and I thought he delivered.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed too, man.
I did really like this. I'll talk about it after. But he said he's starting to understand why Christian did what he did at Revolution. He said he'll share his thoughts when they're face to face. I think he said next week. I don't remember. He said
I think so too.
What happened last week when he got involved in the world title match is what happens when you properly, he emphasizes properly, executes a plan. And so I thought this was a really interesting piece of development. He seemed to be back in line at first, and he was like, I felt like he was starting to fall in line where he's like, oh, I understand where he's coming from, like as if Christian like kind of put him back in line. But then he's like emphasizing we properly executed a plan, kind of like taking a dig at Christian, rubbing in his face. So I'm interested to see where we go next week. I thought this was a really cool way to develop it without Christian.
And at the end, it clearly looks like Mother Wayne and Nick are on the same page, and they walk away, and it's Sabian who's going to be the one that has the choice to make, right?
Yeah, Sabian looks like
it's just
he looks a little bugged there.
That he's so insignificant. It's like kind of I know you like him, but like, why do we care what he decides?
Because he's super bad,
right? Because he's a nothing.
Yeah.
So I like that they're trying to tell that story, but I don't know if he's the guy to tell it.
Anyways. Yeah, it's and I don't know why like.
But I agree. I'm
interested.
interested.
Here the least amount of time too.
And this is getting Nick Wayne camera time and speaking time, and he's super young. So
yeah, more time to show what he's actually capable of, right? Which, like I said, because I think he's from what we've seen, like that Swerve match he had when he debuted, the things he did before he joined with Christian, he's fantastic for how young he is. Like I said, he's only a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic. So. I thought this was really good. I thought he sounded good, and I thought he did a good job of furthering the angle. So I'm curious to see where we go next week. And I'm also curious to see if it ends up kind of being a promo battle type thing, how he'll stand up against Christian, because Christian's a really strong promo these days. I know. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, me too. I definitely prefer this to Christian having a title shot and never using it. Like, this is way more
feuding with Hook.
It feels more appropriate, like hierarchy-wise and interest-wise.
Yeah, I agree. Then we get a Hangman interview, but it gets cut off by Swerve coming in. They get kind of into an angry yelling match. Swerve said he'll end them if he's getting involved in the world title business. Nana takes Swerve away. There's nothing much here. They could do this anytime. Obviously, this is the feud.
That's the beauty of these guys. You can do this now. You can do it 5 years from now.
And I like it because it's like they still have that hostility, but Hangman's a babyface now, so they're kind of on the same side of the fence, but they're still rivals. And they
just cross paths at work sometimes, and they don't like each other.
That, right? And
me too.
because Hangman's kind of lining up for title shots. Swerve's in the world title program right now. It's kind of all.
They can't avoid each other.
Then Shivani takes JR's position of sitting down with people as he's with Rated FTR. He talks about them being close and being like, I think they're IRL neighbors or something like that.
That I think so. Either it's slightly embellished or that's true.
I know it's something like that because I know they have some sort of Dax said last week he let his emotions get the best of him and he apologizes. He said he felt that FTR lost focus trying to win the tag titles back and they took time to help Copeland realize his dream, but he didn't win the gold and he feels like they wasted their time kind of, or like they took their eye off the ball, I think he said. Copeland said he came back to help them with Moxley because like he mentioned what the Death Riders are doing to them, and he didn't ask them to take time for the titles, and that like Dax is like, oh, that's why I'm apologizing. He says that a lot. And Cash doesn't want to see them fight about this. He said without either of them, he'd have nothing. He said when he had nowhere to live, Copeland helped him and gave him opportunities. He said he wants his two best friends and himself to be on the same page. And Dax said, like, he's saying he's apologizing. He said it's time for them to go after Hurt Syndicate. Cash kind of course corrects that and says he thinks there's gas in the tank for them as a trio, so he wants them to go for the trio titles. Copeland likes that, so he sets out a challenge for Dynasty for the Death Riders, and Dax is okay with that too. He says top guys out, but Copeland kind of is like, no, and then he does Rated FTR out. So thoughts on this? Because I thought this was pretty interesting.
I really like this. I think, like, obviously it's kind of like Dax is saying a whole bunch of crap about Edge and then going, but I'm sorry, though. Right? It's kind of like when people say no offense and they think that then they have...
Yeah.
But he's being subtle about it, but I think the point is...
I thought it felt kind of sincere at first, but to me it felt like it kind of more...
Because the
more they keep cutting him off, though, the more he's like, okay, but I'm sorry.
And I can go along with it for now, but you can tell... Like,
and I feel like you can see him getting agitated every time he gets cut off by one of them.
Right.
And having to continuously say he's apologizing and trying to, like, defend himself. And I think also Cash cutting off the tag title challenge to shift the focus away from that, which clearly is already bothering Dax. This bothers him more. And then Copeland also hijacked their outro line, right?
Yes. I'm hoping, I guess, that long run, this is, Dax is not on board, Cash is stuck in the middle, Cash eventually chooses Dax, and they beat the crap out of Edge. Because I think clearly... Like, Dax is irritated, and his phrasing...
I think he turns for sure. I don't know if both of them
And it makes sense. He's going like, listen, we dedicated a bunch of time for you, and you failed in what you're supposed to do, and we stopped doing what we were doing to help you. And he's like, I never asked you to help me. It's like, okay, sorry, but, like, clearly I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if both of FTR turn. I could see potential in
They
Dax
can't go separate.
Run,
that's the problem.
I feel like Cash can't. Dax might be able to.
I don't think he can't. I think there's a ceiling that's not super high on him, too, and I love him in ring.
Yeah, because he had a great run of solo
Remember
matches
for a while, I
back.
remember being like
it was
6 months in and going, he could be Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, he was on a fire at one point.
He was, when Cash was hurt.
Yeah, heel FTR is kind of where it's at. Like, they've been surprisingly, because I always say about Jay White how I love him better as a heel. For a team in NXT that was so great as heels, Revival, FTR, whatever, have been fantastic baby faces for the last few years, I think.
I feel like these guys, because they got tangled up with Punk on Collision, they've just kind of been over there so much that I lose track of them. And I love it. I love them in ring. Don't get me wrong.
You always did.
I always did.
Then we get Swerve calling out Mox in the ring. He says he's there to call out Moxley since they have a title match at Dynasty, which is real soon. And so I guess they're spending the last week of the build in a mixed tag. Like, that's kind of disappointing.
Weird.
I thought we had more time, so I was okay with it, but then I was like...
Then you realize how time works.
Yeah, I guess there's Collision, but that means nothing to me.
Doesn't help us.
Swerve said he wanted Moxley to come out there if he had the balls to do so. Mox comes out by himself. Swerve said people have been asking him since October why he hasn't been going after the world title. He asked Mox what happened to him. He said Moxley hides behind Claudio, Yuta, Pac, and Shafir. He told Mox he's not even worthy enough to be a champion. He said Moxley hides the title because he can't even look at it anymore. He said every time he has a championship defense, he shows the world. And he asked, how's his back doing? He said everything that Moxley used to be is now what he's about, and he's looking at the man right now. Moxley was about to speak, but then Claudio appears behind Nana. Moxley said it sounded all great if you believe it. He asked who Swerve really is and what he is.
He looked gigantic behind Nana, too.
Yeah, it looked pretty sick. Moxley said he knows who Swerve is. He knows what he can be. He told Swerve he'll give him a chance to be everything he can be, and asked himself he has to ask himself how far he's willing to go. Not just on April 6th, but every day. He wonders if Swerve will endure and keep going. He said Swerve isn't what he thinks he is because he hasn't suffered enough yet, and he'll suffer at Dynasty. He complained about people having, how people have taken over the business, while guys like Swerve are why Moxley has put his everything into the business. He said he doesn't give handouts, and so how far is Swerve willing to go? Because he's willing to go all the way right now. Swerve's the most dangerous man in AEW, and then Shafir comes out with a crowbar, but Willow has a comically large pipe.
Comically large.
So who wins? Swerve said Mox is finally facing off with somebody smarter than him. Swerve said he is violent, he bleeds buckets, he's won Texas Death Matches, and he's the most dangerous man in AEW. He'll continue to lead this era. He'll become AEW World Champion, and Mox can continue to play John Moxley on TV. Moxley got out of there with Claudio and Shafir. Claudio had the briefcase. Shafir tripped a Willow on the apron, and they were kind of fighting, and Claudio grabs her and takes her away, so they kind of get out of there.
I like the last bit of Swerve when he gets more intense.
I thought he had his edge back a bit. Yeah, I liked him.
But the first exchange didn't do a ton for me. I thought Swerve was too reserved and deliberate. Like he was. I thought Mox was
pretty typical too.
And Mox, I didn't know, wasn't saying a ton, but
yeah,
I like Swerve as the confident challenger, and I thought the last little bit of this was good. And Willow,
I thought it was good.
Love Willow, so anything that gets her a match and gets her noticed, I'm fine with.
Yeah. I said the match should be good, but I hope it kicks up a notch next week. I guess we don't have that much time. So
we don't.
I
agree.
Yeah, it's rough, I guess. The Offs are backstage. Shibata's back on camera duty. Joe and Hook are talking about having fun choking out people last week.
Because Hook choked someone out.
I don't know. Collision, because I don't remember seeing anything. We didn't. It was on Collision for sure.
And then wasn't it like he's like convincing Joe, sometimes it's fun to just choke someone out, and he's like, okay. And then
I don't know.
I think something.
I don't know. Caster is holding his plaque up to Top Flight and AR Fox. Joe chokes him out, and they're.
Because then he's like, you're right, it is fun.
Yeah, they're dabbing up Top Flight and them. I thought this was fun because I thought Hook and Joe were kind of amusing together.
They do work together.
I think it helps Hook out. I love Joe's duality because he's kind of like chill and cracking jokes, but then he's still that killer. And so I love Joe.
They work together. It's just a shame because one guy in this partnership is at his ceiling and the other guy's at his floor. You know what I mean? Joe could do anything up to
even this late
champion
in his career,
of the company. But he's doing this, whereas this is as good as as much as I want Hook to do.
I agree, but it's also okay, I think, because it's later in Joe's career. So
I know, and I don't think he minds either.
No, and
I like how I decide. Punk's a dick, Jericho's a dick, Joe's a great guy. Just because I decide, I don't.
I mean,
I talk to Joe all the time. He's a great guy.
I feel like we haven't seen any instances to think otherwise, so I think it's fair. Mm-hmm. Then we get a Switchblade interview. He says he's also entering in the Owen Hart Cup because we can't have enough big stars in there.
Right.
He issues a warning to Hangman and Ospreay. He said it'll be on Collision this Saturday. If anybody wants to if they think they deserve a spot in the tournament, they should step up to him. It's Kevin Knight, so I think that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Typically solid stuff from White. I love seeing his promos. I think he's great. I'm thrilled to see him in the tourney again. It's crazy stacked already with him, Hangman, and Ospreay being the field already. I feel like he's destined to make it no farther than the semis.
Feels like it.
Because last year he lost in the semis to Hangman. I could honestly see it again, but honestly, I feel like we get
Hangman Ospreay.
Hangman Ospreay's the finals, but I feel like we get Switchblade Ospreay in the semis since
cool.
Since
That's
last year's
awesome.
Semis was Hangman and Switchblade, so I think we get
and then Hangman and somebody awesome.
As long as he gets some good stuff in along the way, I'm okay with it. But yeah, this is a pretty sick looking tournament.
Yeah, that was my main takeaway. That tournament's already star-studded, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could even see Swerve getting in there when he loses.
How many more spots are there?
5, I think. I think it's an 8-man usually.
Okay.
I want to say it is. It might be a 16, but I don't think it is.
Load it up.
Let me see. 2024 Owen Hart Cup bracket, because that'll give us a good basis.
8 feels right.
I feel like it's 8, right? Yeah. Oh wait. It's
can't be 16.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 8. Okay.
Yeah. It
was just 4 on both sides because I was confused. So because last year it was. That's so weird. One of the first round matches was Claudio and Pac.
Awesome.
That's so funny. Danielson, Takagi, Phoenix, Jay White, Jarrett, and a wild card.
Come on now.
That was last. That was when they started babyface Jarrett.
Right.
That's when we started that. And the wild card was, of course, Hangman, because then it was Hangman, Switchblade. Jarrett. I think it was Danielson and Claudio, I want to say, or was it Pac? I don't know. And then I remember the finals being Danielson and Hangman on Dynamite, which is pretty good. But yeah, it's been an 8-man bracket usually. I'm just kind of, while we're on this train, what was the 2023 one looking like?
Jeez.
Oh, this is 2020. Is this 2022? I think this one is because it's Ray Phoenix and Kyle O'Reilly, which I think was that year. Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin. I remember that was the one where Darby jumps off the ladder onto the chairs. Yeah, because it's the one where Adam Cole won because he beat Joe in the finals. And Joe in the wild card, was that? Who was that? I don't even remember. I remember the 2023 one, the random first match. It was Kojima and Punk. We were there.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, and Punk was like kind of working heel because Toronto's just
hated him so
great.
much. Yep.
Because that was after Brawl Out.
Not the guys beside us. They loved him.
Yeah, they did.
Is that the same dude that?
Yeah.
Took a tumble.
Yeah, had it coming.
Really, really steep concrete steps at that venue. Really steep.
Yeah. Top Flight versus Jobbers next.
That's what I have too. Didn't get a name.
I don't care. Darius hit. It was kind of cool. Bulldog in the middle ropes, and then a rope step flatliner back in the ring.
Yep.
They had some tag team offense before they didn't know, but they had some really cool stuff. Huge springboard crossbody from Dante. Shotgun dropkick into a German suplex from Top Flight. Darius hits like a shell shock looking move. Shout out to Ryback, I guess. And Dante hits like a crossover splash for the win. It was a solid squash for the hometown boys. They looked good here. I thought they had some cool stuff, so I hope we could build them to a title challenge because I think in ring they're really fun to watch.
And it was more storyline because Andretti and Leo Rush.
CRU.
And then they get into talking.
But wasn't that already a thing, remember?
That's the problem. Like, this is cool action in this, but it's two barely visible teams for me. So it's hard. It's like kind of
they had like a match and we get a title shot at Private Party.
I guess.
And it was all in Collision, so we didn't watch it.
Exactly. So it's tough. Like, yeah, it's a fun little thing, but doesn't really matter at all to me.
Exactly. Then we get Ospreay highlight reel because he'll be back next week.
Nice.
Mark Briscoe and Konosuke Takeshita up next. My boy. A rolling Death Valley driver from Briscoe goes up top. Takeshita meets him in the forum and a big superplex for 2. Heavy DDT on the apron from Takeshita. He catapults Briscoe in the corner. Big forearm off the rebound. Drop kick through the ropes and a cannonball off the apron from Briscoe. Then I think he did another cannonball through the ropes. Briscoe got dropped high on a German suplex. He comes back. Big lariat to Takeshita for 2. Couple of explosive suplexes from Briscoe. Takeshita nails the power drive knee for a near fall. Briscoe absolutely sticks a J Driller for 2. Takeshita got a rope break with his foot on the bottom rope. The finish came when Takeshita escapes the cutthroat driver, forearm, rolling elbow, a dope-looking Raging Fire for the win.
I'm disappointed that the cutthroat driver got
avoided
in a way because it looks awesome. But I thought
this was great.
Like the second half of this especially was really good. Again, predictable result for sure, but I
love both
action.
These guys. Like King and Fletcher, it was expected, but it also delivered really well.
I didn't make notes specifically, but I did say that Taz was funny on commentary with his hatred for Callis on this
Callis came back.
Specific match. So yeah, like a good TV match, and the right guy won.
Takesha's great. No bastard driver or Blue Thunder Bomb, which is odd, but still one of my favorites to watch. Briscoe always puts in a good shift, I feel like. He does. He's really underrated. The Raging Fire looked awesome again, and Takesha gets some real momentum. Yeah. Other than the caster match last week. So him and Fletcher start to rebuild, which is nice to see for sure.
It is.
Death Riders promo. Yuta said he expected this from FTR, but he's mad at Copeland because he tried to move him from his family, and his family is better than Copeland's. Claudio said things too. Pac said things, but I liked it because I love Pac.
I said nice to hear Pac's standard response.
Yeah.
To FTR and Copeland.
You and Claudio were good, but I love hearing Pac
Me
speak.
Too.
I love it.
And they know because they finished with him.
Yeah. He's just so great. He should always cut promos, and he can always speak for them. Have him speak always. Thanks. I love him so much.
Just a little bit of Pac is all you need.
He's one of my favorites to hear on the mic. He's just great.
Yet he's always the same. No range, but that
I literally never get sick of it because it just stands out, and it's just such a character.
Yeah.
You know, I love it.
Me too.
Then we get Hurst and get backstage. They were gonna get interviewed by MJF's girlfriend, but they told her not to. So we need to start acknowledging that because people have acknowledged Renee and Moxley now. So now we need to start calling her like MJF's whore or something like that.
Right? Wow, that's a heel move, obviously, because she's not.
No, although when she used to do her interview show, MJF called her Tits McGee from Whore Island.
Nice.
It's pretty funny. I think that was pretty big time MJF though. Anyways, Lashes is not happy about MVP trying to bring him into the group when he told them to take time off. MVP rightfully said they had talked about adding a fourth member because remember there was the recruitment period.
Yeah, he was giving out business cards to everybody.
Yeah, Lashley said he doesn't like MJF. MVP said MJF had some reprehensible qualities, and that's what he likes because he could be good for their business. But MVP said if they don't want him in, they can revisit the situation. and you mentioned the big Beal situation, and they fist bump to show they're on the same page.
Right. It's kind of like MVP. Like I was kind of right. I thought maybe that's what was happening, right? While they were away, he's just like, this is a big name free agent, whatever guy that will do
not knowing how they feel about it,
and that will do anything to win. So I'm going to try and recruit him, unless it comes out. Maybe the part of the story is like, did he do that intentionally? Did he wait until they were?
I don't think so, which is why I like this, because I think like they both had points, and I ultimately agree that MJF shouldn't be in the group. But I like MVP kind of had a good reason for bringing him in. Like I think he kind of made sense. And Shelton saying he had a reputation is also pretty accurate. And I like the MVP ultimately like was gonna be
He's
like,
well,
we'll
if
do
you guys
what...
don't want it, then
yeah,
no.
I like that, right? So then it's not a dissension tease that we don't need.
Yeah.
I'm still iffy on this angle, but I really enjoyed how they handled it here. We'll see if it leads anywhere else.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you were sort of doing a preliminary meeting, but we're vetoing, and he's like, okay, that's cool.
But it could just be a recruitment thing, kind of like because they had the angles Ricochet that hasn't gone anywhere else.
Yeah.
So this could easily just be that blip in the road. And if so, that's okay, because I kind of like this. Just it kind of fleshes out their characters a bit. So if we leave it at this, I'm okay with it actually. I think it turned out kind of best case scenario. Then we go to main event, which is Thunder Tits versus Ford and Megan Bayne.
That's right.
I like that Megan Bayne's nickname is the Megasis.
Yeah, it's like
awesome.
Yeah.
Rosa sounds and looks like an idiot for shouting Thunder Tits.
Yeah,
like
she looks, couple times.
She looks stupid. She looks like a dumbass.
Especially because she seemed like she wasn't cool with it before.
Because why would you be?
I guess.
It just doesn't make sense.
I got reminded today, or maybe not today, the other day, that she was Cobra Moon. And I didn't think Cobra Moon was good either. Because it's Thunder Rosa, but like 10 years ago.
That's worse.
Right? Exactly. I forgot she was Cobra Moon.
Oh, I miss when we thought she was good.
I miss those. I always like to think people are good.
Hot take.
Hot take. I like liking things.
I like when things are good.
I like not liking things
I see,
too.
That's the thing.
Right?
I don't hate not liking things.
I know. Yeah. Exactly.
Right? I don't not like not liking when things are not likable.
Sounds like The Office. Don't.
Yeah, and just cancel out all the negatives, which would be I don't even want to bother.
As long as you have an odd number, you're okay?
Right, so it's like I don't like
so when one's an odd number, you're good.
Things aren't I don't not like when things are not good.
Okay.
So I like when things are good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, backbreaker leg drop thingy to Ford from Storm Rosa. Rosa steps off Storm's back for like a corner drop kick for two, like a Hardy Boys kind of thing. Fans are chanting Thunder Tits now. Kill me. Bane slams Rosa down. Ford's a standing moonsault for two. Bane misses an attack into the stairs. Storm with the tornado DDT on the floor. Fate's Descent, which is Bane's F5 on Rosa. Storm gets involved. Storm hits Bane with her hip attack, but Bane gets back up. Accidentally pump gets forward. Storm rolls her up for two. Fate's Descent, and Bane gets a clean pin on Storm.
She does, which means she's
like
if you hadn't telegraphed it
in a vacuum, I'm happy with that. But like
outside the vacuum, she's doomed.
This was solid. It's definitely not a main event, and I guess it's nice for the women, especially Bane, main event 2 weeks in a row.
For sure.
Good for them at least.
For sure.
Bane looks killer again, and I'm really hoping she pulls off a miracle, but there is really no chance.
Miracle is the
like
word.
Maybe they just really want to strap the rocket to her, and there's this sliver of a chance because she's great. There? But like it's not happening.
No.
Good for her for scoring the pin, but as if I already didn't think when they were chopping her down at Dynasty.
Yeah, I thought the match was solid. She looked good again. Not worthy of a main event on Dynamite by many means, I don't think.
No.
But again, she gets a pinfall. That will never be taken away from her because there's no chance she's winning against Storm.
It sucks because I don't want her to lose already.
And kind of it just felt like Thunder Rosa and Penelope were just stapled onto this to keep it from being a singles match. Because
Ford's been randomly teaming with Bane lately, and then might as well reunite Thunderstorm, I guess. I don't know.
Sorry, who?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, looking back, overall, I think solid, not amazing show.
Yeah, not as consistent as
last week.
But we had more of the balance that we usually have.
So I'm going to give it a opening match, short but fun. We got a squash. We got Hobbs Davis was kind of annoying. Takeshita good. I'll go B. Takeshita was good. The main event was fine. Like I'm enjoying seeing Bane still, right? So
yeah.
But a little bit of learning tree hurts. minus.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'll go B.
So I actually did think about it this week.
Von Wagner sighting.
Von Wagner said bump it up a grade.
A plus plus.
Overall felt like a solid show, not as consistently strong as last week. Hopefully the
No.
go home next week is better since it's already here.
Since you now know it's a go home.
Yeah. The matches were generally good though. Like the opener was quick, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Fletcher and King was my favorite match of the night, and Takeshita Briscoe was also great.
Yep.
Main event was okay. The squash from Top Flight was solid because I thought they had some cool stuff, and Davis Hobbs was a waste of time that undid his highlight showing last week.
It was weird decisions all around.
Yeah,
there.
it kind of reminded me of when at the beginning of 2024, Takeshita killed Darby Allin and looked awesome, and then him and Hobbs got jobbed out.
At the end of the show, I'd be confident they got cut for time.
Yeah, right.
But it wasn't. It was in the middle.
Still, though.
Yeah.
It's like how Jay in theory got cut for time.
Yeah.
And, you know.
That's okay. I get that decision.
It's still somehow ended up being horrible, though.
Right.
The most notable segment, I think, was MJF Hurt Syndicate thing, which I thought was actually a little better than expected, and was made for me by MVP roasting the Learning Tree. Swerve Mox was okay. I liked like the Hangman Swerve interaction. Switchblade Patriarchy was actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Pac, Rated FTR was also good. So most of the segments were good. Anything else was fine, if I didn't mention it. Pretty good show. Definite drop from last week. I felt set at a high B.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Close to a B plus. I kind of forgot about Fletcher Brody. He was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break from talking specific wrestling and go into a more general trivia of whatever I chose this week to challenge you with. I told you if the AI got the answers right, I think it's pretty fun trivia this week. So we'll do that now. We call it Off the Top of His Head. Okay, this week trivia is what I inputted was a very difficult.
Inputted, is that the word?
I think it is now.
Is it? Okay. All right.
Is inputted a word?
I don't know.
You don't think
It doesn't
sound
feel
like.
right.
I input. Is that past tense? Present and past are the same?
Because I don't think putted is a word.
Putted. That's
Right.
true. 20 very difficult AEW trivia questions with answers for me.
I mean,
The questions for
they
sure.
could just not have answers and we'll see what happens.
The questions for sure are right. The answers we won't know till we get in there.
Okay.
So number one, there's 20. That's when I asked for 20. It gave me 20. That's the first step. Check. Nailed
Okay. So far, we're
Nailed it.
checking the boxes.
Who is the first person to win an AEW match via referee stoppage? This is difficult.
Who would know that?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
So options?
Like Moxley?
That's a good guess, but no. So Omega, Moxley, Pac, or Rhodes?
Cody.
They're saying Pac defeated Omega by referee stoppage at All Out 2019.
I think it was more of like 'cause I do remember the finish. It was the standing brutalizer.
We're already
He goes
it.
out. Like I think it was one of those pass out ones. I feel like it's more of one of those technical submission things. I don't know if that counts as referee stoppage.
To them it does.
When they're in a submission. So I'll
I'll
kind of call foul on that one.
Okay. Which wrestler holds the record for the longest AEW singles match of 2024? So last year. Think about it.
Is it MJF and Ospreay?
No. Because didn't that go just short? So what won at Winter is Coming? What? Oh, as of 2024. Not in 2024.
So was it Hangman and Danielson then?
My bad. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Because I was like, huh?
I was like, yeah, I was
2021, right?
Okay. That was yes.
Reading is hard.
Yeah.
Who was the first wrestler to win the main event of Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision? I like these. These are the ones that you have to assume it's right because if you're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's no.
And I have options too.
Like I'm just trying to think who would have wrestled on all those shows.
That is a very good route to take.
So here's the thing, right?
Who's a prominent person for sure on Collision?
We're saying main events.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the main event of the first Collision, Omega was in it. But he lost that because remember that's when he lost the Impact title.
Okay.
So I don't think he was really on Rampage much either.
Your good thinking is good so far.
And Collision. So that would eliminate someone like Moxley because he's not really on Collision ever.
Think of who it highlights.
Punk?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's Punk.
That's horrible.
Who was the first?
That sounds right though. Like
it does.
honestly,
it does.
I'm not gonna bother with that.
Who was the first person to win an AEW Casino Battle Royale and not get their title shot on a pay-per-view? These are good.
Jungle Boy?
It is Jungle Boy. You, sir, are a nerd. I wish I had my sound effects thing with the you are
because I
a
remember,
huge nerd.
I'm pretty sure he won it at
Good for you.
2021 Double or Nothing. I remember him facing Omega on Dynamite.
Would you like to see what it says in brackets?
Sure.
He won the Casino Battle Royal at Double or Nothing 2021, but faced Kenny Omega on Dynamite instead. Nerd City. I love it.
Nailed it.
In the best way possible. Number 5. What is the fastest AEW World Championship match as of 2024?
Let me think. I'm trying, like,
I have options, obviously.
I feel like none of them, nothing's standing out to me as especially fast. Cause I feel like with WWE, it's like if you're asked quickest WrestleMania match, it's that Rock Eric Rowan one, right? Like there's usually with WWE when they do it quick, they do it quick. Or if it was fastest WWE title matches, remember when Kofi got squashed by Redacted?
Yes.
Right.
Was this one injury related?
Sorry, did you say AEW World Title?
Yes.
World Title.
Was this one maybe injury related?
I was gonna say Mox and Hobbs, but that was for the New Japan.
No.
That was for IWGP.
I might be leading you down the wrong path. Do not trust me.
Okay. I'll think about it. I'm just trying to think, like, would it maybe be an earlier one?
I have options if you want.
Like Jericho Moxley, maybe?
No.
I feel like that one wouldn't be
half right.
Is it
According to this.
Is it Jericho?
No.
So it's a Moxley match.
Yes.
Is it Moxley MJF from like
No.
Moxley Jake Hager?
No.
That did happen. Moxley Brody Lee?
No. Who did Phil hurt his ankle against?
Moxley?
Was it? Because I think it was.
On Diamond? Oh, right. The one where he squashed him, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I forgot about that. Yeah, okay.
Was that when he got hurt?
No.
Okay.
So here's what it remembers. So
I thought maybe he got hurt right away and he only lasted 3 minutes.
No. So what it was right. It was, remember, Punk beats Hangman Double or Nothing 2022. The Dynamite after, he has a trios match with FTR against the Guns and I think it was Caster.
Yeah.
He jumps over the barricade, whacks his ankle.
Yes.
There, remember? He got injured before that match. So then he's out. He returns, and him and Moxley, remember, they did the unification match because Moxley's interim champion. They do the unification on Dynamite.
To unify the AEW title.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was Punk hits a roundhouse on Moxley, and they do an angle with the ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because it was only like 2 minutes in, then that's the thing where like Moxley cranks his ankle, paradigm shift, it's over. And then remember they had the rematch at All Out, and then that's when Brawl Out happens.
Apologize to AI. It's doing really well.
Yeah.
Who is the first AEW to win a title in another promotion while holding an AEW belt? I have options.
Is it Omega? Like, if it's not Omega,
it is not Omega.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I think this is right.
Sorry, winning an outside belt while holding an AEW belt?
First AEW wrestler to win a title in another promotion while holding an AEW belt. Don't know if that's significant. Emphasized it. Might have been misleading because I don't know.
I'm just trying to think who else.
Oh, no, it does say here. Okay.
So
which the two belts are. And it is the championship. Like, I can clarify.
Who?
In AEW it is.
Who would I don't even know who.
Oh, you're going to regret this one. I think you're going to be like, idiot.
Who?
Because I'm pretty sure you know.
Winning an outside belt.
Can I give you a year?
Sure.
2020?
2020. While holding an AEW belt. Is it not Omega? It's not Omega.
It's not Omega.
Who else
If I give you the
be?
options, it'll be real easy too.
No, I don't want to.
No, watch. You'll be like,
there.
no, that didn't happen then. And I'll be like, oh, because I feel like it did. But
because
maybe it didn't.
Because Serena Deeb won a belt outside, but she wasn't holding anything.
Male.
Okay. Like Omega already had he's not even Omega because he.
It's not Omega.
Had the AAA belt already. Is it the Bucks?
It is not the Bucks.
Is it a singular person?
It is a singular person.
Who else did other things?
Who else did other things? You're gonna kick yourself, I think, and I enjoy that.
Okay, no, but like, who held AEW belts in 2020?
All of our listeners are screaming right now because they all know. Watch them now.
It's not Cody.
It's not Cody.
Not Darby Allin.
It is not Darby Allin.
It's not Brody Lee.
It's not Brody Lee. Brody Lee. Rip.
Who else was the world champion that year?
Goodness.
It's Mox.
In AEW.
Omega. Champion in AEW.
Not necessarily the top title.
I know. That's what I was thinking. TNT.
In another promotion.
What else? I don't know.
New Japan's correct.
Yeah. Wait. Who was it? No, who would be winning titles in New Japan?
IWGP US title, this says, if it's correct.
The Mox?
Yeah.
Okay. That
Right?
makes sense. But I don't
Kicking yourself? You don't seem to be.
I don't know
wanted
if
you
he
to.
won. I think that makes sense.
I think it
That's
does too,
interesting.
because I kind of remember that.
I know he had the belt. I just don't know when he won it, but I feel like it's right.
Maybe you don't know anything. Who is the first person
Sounds
to
plausible,
pin
at least.
CM Punk in AEW?
Pin CM Punk. MJF.
Correct. Where?
Dynamite. It was like that
What?
one with like
What
the full
month?
finish. February.
It was. What city?
Chicago.
It was. Yes. According to this.
And Punk was wearing camo trunks.
Which maybe?
Was.
Which of these AEW World Champions never held the AEW Tag Team Championship?
Sure.
Omega,
He did.
Moxley,
Moxley.
correct. Page or MJF?
MJF didn't hold the tag titles.
It says MJF has.
No.
Did he not win it with? No. Nobody?
No, because Hangman and Omega won them together.
Yes.
MJF's held the world title and the international title.
Who was the first person to hold both the AEW TNT Championship and the ROH TV Championship at the same time?
Joe, he's the only person to do that.
What
King
year?
of TV, baby.
What year?
2022.
Oh, King of TV. That I feel like that's when you really started to be like, Joe is awesome.
I loved King of TV. That was awesome. And also, I hated Wardlow.
Joe's the man. You did. What was the first AEW match to be rated 5 stars outside of a pay-per-view?
Omega Pack.
Halfway there.
Omega.
Correct.
And
2021.
Omega and Moxley.
If you're going to have a 5-star match with someone, this is not a surprise.
Moxley.
No. More
Man.
more likely than that. More likely than that. Like the most likely, possibly. Outside of Ospreay, because he's not there.
Who else is most likely? Omega and...
Like, I would say it's the most likely outside of Ospreay Omega.
Oh, Omega Danielson.
Correct.
Right?
Right? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Most
it was
likely
their only match, too.
Other than them?
At Grand Slam, yeah.
Who was the first AEW wrestler to have a match at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom after AEW was formed? First wrestler to have a match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Mox.
They're saying no.
Omega.
No. It says versus Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 14, 2020. Now that they mention it, I remember this.
I don't.
It was too old.
Should I? Is it Jericho?
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Which AEW tag team has the most 5-star rated matches?
If it's not the Bucks, then who is it?
It is the Bucks. Like why even? Why what have we been
bother?
doing here?
Maybe FTR, but even then, like
They were
come
on the list, but no way. Which AEW wrestler was the first to appear in a main event of both Dynamite and Collision?
Is it Punk again?
It is. I was going to be like, same logic would apply. Who was the first wrestler to compete in both AEW and WWE match within the same year?
Within the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Very good. These questions are good, eh?
Yeah, they're interesting.
Who is the only and I'm trying to do the emphasis the way they put certain words in italics.
Sure.
Who is the only AEW wrestler to win both the AEW World Title and the AAA Mega Championship?
Omega.
Of course. Who is the first AEW wrestler to win a title match on New Year's Smash?
Omega?
No. Not even
Darby?
a nominee. Correct. Defeated who? It was a title match.
Brian Cage.
Nope. He's no longer with the company. He's a bigger star elsewhere. Cody. Who is the first AEW wrestler to compete in an Anarchy in the Arena match and a Blood and Guts match? I thought you'd like these type questions.
First Anarchy in the Arena, huh?
Because you'll know it, but you have to think about it. I think that's a sweet spot.
The first Blood and Guts was Pinnacle and Inner Circle. So your options are MJF, FTR, Spears, Wardlow, Jericho, Proud and Powerful, Hager, Guevara. And then the first Anarchy in the Arena, I think, was probably the same people.
Oh, so maybe this is wrong then.
No, because...
Are you missing somebody?
Probably. No, because...
It was in both in the year 2022, if it helps you.
2022?
That's what it says.
Okay. Sorry, rephrase the...
Who was the first AEW wrestler to compete in an in an Anarchy in the Arena match and a Blood and Guts match.
I feel because they still called it Stadium Stampede in 2021. That's why. Because they still call it Stadium Stampede.
So that moves you to,
so
look
that's
at this, how
that's
smart
the difference
this is.
there. Okay. Because Anarchy in the Arena, this was the one where I think it would have been Jazz and Anarchy in the Arena, right? I think it was against them. I think it was Kingston and Proud and Powerful, and would it be Eddie?
It wasn't Eddie.
Jericho?
No.
Because they were both in both those matches.
They're saying Mox.
Interesting.
Was he involved?
I think so.
I don't remember. I'll leave that up to you.
I don't know.
Who's the first AEW wrestler to have an officially sanctioned 60-minute Iron match?
I think the only one is MJF and Danielson. Right?
Good. You got it. What was the first AEW match to take place inside a steel cage?
Cody Wardlow?
Wardlow. That's funny.
It's the one where Cody does a moonsault off the top and he breaks his toe.
Nice. Last one. Who is the first AEW wrestler to win both a singles title and a tag team title?
Omega.
Yeah, finally after you've guessed Omega 700 times. I thought those were pretty fun.
Yeah, it's
right?
really good.
Some of them I knew, like, you'd have to think for a minute, but you get them, and I think that's fun.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Now we'll go back to talking wrestling. It's whatever we want to talk about from the rest of the week that wasn't Dynamite. It's Highspots and Restholds. All right, I'll start out with what I always start out with. That is talking a little bit of Raw. So you saw the promo, I'm sure. Starts out with Cena, right?
Yeah. I didn't see as much. Like, I didn't go out to watch this one like I did the first one, but it was still, I like what I saw.
So he talks about the kid he mocked last week. It's all about the fans again this week and how terrible they are and further evidence of why they're terrible. 2005, he brought out the spinner belt, right? And people hated it. Like, you can go back and look. They were mad that he made their belt a toy. He's going to beat Flair's record, take the title away from WWE.
I like that.
And they can make a new toy, and that his payback is he's going to rip the fans' hearts out when he walks away with their title and leaves. So
then it got me thinking, could we potentially see a reverse Summer of Punk?
Yeah, interesting.
And as much as I don't like CM Punk, like, I'm kind of interested in that.
I know.
Like, just to have that parallel, I think would be really cool.
It would be kind of interesting.
I feel like because the only way that it would be true reversal is if Punk's the one to end the run at the end of the year, which I don't love the idea of.
Of course you don't.
But
it'd be
we
fun.
could also do the story and Cena could just win. But even if that is how the run ends, I don't want Punk to win that. But at the same time, it's just like, it's so tantalizing.
It is. It's a cool idea to do.
Like, I just think, and after all this time, I think that'd be
the turntables.
So interesting. Yeah.
I thought this was well delivered, but like a couple complaints, like, it's just a continuation of last week. There's still...
And he still didn't talk to Cody at all.
No addressing Cody, no addressing Travis Scott, no addressing The Rock.
I would like to chime in and say let's not address Travis
Scott. I agree, but like, the dude was there when you got killed.
I think like
said nothing.
They're trying to spare
anything.
Cody. I think next week since it's his last scheduled appearance, he has to chop Cody on the mic, no?
I feel like he does, but
I'm all for it.
But I think if that happens, there's a chance that people start cheering Cena.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think Cody's still too popular. I think we're not.
I thought it was
not
weird.
Enough of the majority. Like, we're in the minority with Cody.
So Cody comes out.
Be popular.
Cody comes out and does the whole like, you've got to beat me first to get the title. You know, like
and I'm Cody Rhodes.
You might be the most dangerous Cena yet. Your big mistake wasn't hitting with the belt. It was what you just said to the fans. That kind of crap.
Just, I don't even want.
Puts the title down in between them. Calls Cena on. Starts like unbuttoning his 8-piece suit to get ready.
Because, he's not corporate.
He's every
Rock.
man. He is son of a plumber in a $5,000 suit.
He's like, you can't even. You just can't.
Or grandson of a plumber, I guess. Because I think that was Dusty's thing that he was.
Yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, because then Kevin Owens' thing was the son of the Canadian security technician or whatever.
So Cena retreats instead. Cody says Cena's walking away now, and he'll walk away from WrestleMania. And WWE, I think. And it's just like, the comparison for me is my sister used to watch, and my grandmother, soap operas, right? And their acting is pretty much accepted as like It's not
egregious.
It's not fair to say they're bad actors, but they're acting in a style that is not good acting. Does that make sense?
That's not meant to be
like, it's
realistic.
Not, right. It's not to say you couldn't put them in
It's
something.
meant to be dramatic, though.
And they could act, but like over the top dramatic.
That's WWE.
So that like maybe the person of average intellect or below will get
or someone with
the emotion.
it's more broad in that sense.
And he does that, and I hate it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Whereas then you have guys like Hangman who are real.
Natural and subtle.
Yeah.
And are like, I think you're intelligent enough to figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna use a scalpel instead of a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Jimmy Uso is the very underwhelming mystery partner for Jey
I think that's
Uso.
such a dick move to not like.
Didn't I say that last week?
I don't know, but it's a dick move to not make it Joe Hendry because it's specifically in Scotland here.
Right.
It's like, and this match really serves no purpose with you other than like Jay's having a
well, that's the
crisis
purpose. Yeah, Usos
like,
win.
That's so dumb.
They hit the 1D to Waller in 11 minutes. Usos celebrate the win. What a surprise. Gunther decides to show up and attack.
Jey Uso.
Pulls Jimmy off the turnbuckle. Jay hits Gunther with some super kicks. Jay goes for a spear, but Jay, quote unquote, slips because we're now going to either work it into the story or try to cover up or both or...
I think they're working into the story.
Slipping. It's been a work the whole time, brother.
I think that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to work into the story so that they can mask up how much he sucks. I'm not buying
me either. So, anyways, he slipped. Gunther starts attacking Jay. Elbow smashes. Jimmy grabs a chair. Gunther retreats. Right. So we're going with it, and it's furthered later on in the show too, with the Jay's off his game and not ready for Gunther, which. He's never ready for Gunther.
I remember seeing the promo a bit of it later where Jimmy's talking about how like this isn't the Jey Uso that can beat Gunther, and I was hoping he was gonna like tell him to go back to the not yeeting serious main event Jey Uso, and that's not gonna happen.
And
I was being unrealistic, and I apologize.
This has been going on for months. El Grande Americano AI vignette.
Like, how can you do like? I just hate it so much.
Still, it was humorous, but like.
I just hate that that's what we're doing.
It's funny because the art changes. Like in one, he's kind of thin, fit, and then he's like super.
That's
jacked,
funny, but why can't we get people to do that?
Not.
Right?
Well,
like,
yeah.
I just hate that this is what we do now.
This used to be a whole bunch of employment for a lot of people, and now it's like prompt in an
I remember
AI
in a video
engine.
talking about how Mad AI is getting that one time they like were using. I think the guy in the YouTube video talked about. He was talking about AI, and he was talking about how they used AI in this documentary it was either about a girl who killed people or I think it was a girl who died actually.
Yeah.
And they were trying to make it look like she was partying, so they made these clearly AI photos of her like at parties or whatever, and it was like in a documentary.
Yeah.
Like it's one terrible. Time where you should
Sounds
not
like
be
something
using
Redacted
AI.
Would do.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
monstrous.
I'm so glad AI was not ready when he was in charge.
No, imagine.
Like there would be no end. And I already hate it here because I just hate that that's what we're doing. It just feels so. I hate AI. But.
Then we cut to Pierce. I think he's with Dragon Lee and Mysterio, and it's basically like, I have a note. Gable's sick and can't compete, but maybe you can wrestle the new guy, right? So Pierce kind of looks like an idiot because it's kind of like he signed.
But maybe it's like Gabe when Pam's trying to get the office administrator thing, and he doesn't want to call him out and like.
Right, he can't say you're a liar.
Accuse him or something. Yeah,
because he's like, we have footage of me and him in the same place.
Yeah,
from
right.
A couple weeks ago,
and the guy getting taken away or whatever.
Plausible
so like Pierce
deniability.
Is right. Pierce is like, there's quote unquote evidence to support that they're not the same, and he's like, I can't accuse him of that. So maybe it's, you know what I mean.
And I enjoy the story, so I'm kind of okay with it. Anyways.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's fun. It's the right like.
It's a Kurt Angle thing.
Of amusing.
It's
exactly.
a Kurt Angle thing.
It really is. But
Jason Jordan's still related to him.
Lyra Valkyria defended the Intercontinental title. She beat Raquel Gonzalez Rodriguez. Which one is it now? Oh, this is one of those things. If you ever quiz me again, like what is her current name? It's a coin toss, but
she's also had names before.
She is Rodriguez because I wrote it down later.
Raquel Gonzalez. She was also Reina Gonzalez before.
Right, that was in the women's.
Young. Yeah. It's interesting.
So she wins, pretty good match. Liv interferes a bunch. Obviously, Lyra counters a Tahana Bomb into a roll up. This is like 2 matches in a row where I thought Rodriguez has looked like a good.
Yeah, I used to like her a lot.
She had an anti-air boot that looked pretty awesome in this. Not that I don't think that's super tough to do, but it's a great big person move. You know?
She should do a flying big boot from the middle rope.
She should.
That's never gone poorly.
No, that's guaranteed.
Doesn't rubberize your ankles
Time
at
off.
all.
Get some time off.
The match will finish around you, though.
Then Liv and Raquel attack Lyra after the match. Bailey comes down to make the save and I guess start a program with Lyra. Shoehorn that into Mania.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about Mania matches, and I didn't even mention the women's mid-card belts once.
Is that's what's happening, I guess, right?
I don't
face
know.
versus face, respect,
I don't know.
respect.
I don't know, dude. Maybe that's the best. Is that the best they got? I don't know.
I feel like it. What's Bailey doing?
Is Chelsea getting on there? Like, what are we doing?
I don't.
So I'm saying they refuse.
Got like 20 matches to fill, literally.
Here's the thing: they refuse to put, more so for non-Mania shows, but even for Mania, I feel like they refuse to put above X amount of matches. For other PLEs, it's 5. For Mania, maybe it's like 7. They won't do more than 7 per night. Let's just say, right?
You think?
But then they have like 20 titles.
I know.
So it's like they refuse to
SmackDown.
put more matches on their shows, but then they're
WrestleMania,
introducing
SmackDown.
more belts. That's what they'll do. They do
Fill
do
that
now.
3 hours
100%.
with Chelsea
I guess
Green.
so,
I
right?
could see it.
I feel like that's what the women's mid-card belts are getting, and probably the tag titles too.
You don't think
honestly?
Bailey? I think the IC will make it on there.
I don't.
Let's call it 15 matches.
I don't. But like, here's the thing: is like, that's why I always say they need more matches in the PLEs, because they have so many belts that they should get some spotlight on, or even some storylines that maybe deserve a pay-per-view payoff. And they refuse to put more matches on, but they keep doing more things, and introducing more belts, and doing this and that and this and that and this and that, and then it's just like,
it's a lot.
And then you have things where,
and then the belts don't seem to matter because you never see them on anything important.
Right, and they're always the tag titles always change hands on TV. They haven't been on a PLE other than the Rumble since Mania last year. But then you have shows like the Rumble or Elimination Chamber where now you have 4 or 5 matches, but guess what? 2 of the slots are automatically taken up by something.
Yeah.
Or even dumber, you have Blood Money, the Crown Jewel one. Now they have those stupid big ass belts that mean nothing. So now those are taking up spots.
Yep.
I guess they're not really taking up spots because they're in lieu of title matches for the world champions, but still, it's just 2 matches that are wasting time instead of meaningful matches. But then they also refuse to put more matches on the card. And again, I don't want crazy long PLEs.
Or build good stories for some of them, at least.
Or both. And I'm not saying I want crazy long PLEs like we used to get sometimes.
No, I do not want that.
I honestly don't think a 7-match show would kill anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. As long as they're not all like 30
6 or 7, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Jimmy confronts Jay on his recent struggles, says that Jay can't beat Gunther the way he is. He needs to go back to main event, Jay, whatever. And then Gunther just happens to be like 10 feet away. Jimmy walks over, challenges him.
Like literally just around the corner.
Yeah, I forget what Gunther says to him, and Jay... Jimmy mocks him for tripping or something, I think it was, probably. As long as you don't trip and fall like your brother, and then Jimmy slaps the living crap.
That sound on that is insane.
I think it helped the like acoustics of the hallway they were in.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But he slapped.
And I feel like Gunther's
hard.
the kind of guy to take that too. Like he won't mind being hit, is what I mean.
So he's gonna be like the gatekeeper to Jay, I guess, even though they've already fought.
Though I think he's a little better.
It's just like another chapter in a bland book at this point, you know. Belair, Sky, and Ripley end up in the ring. I think it starts with just Io and Pierce. The crowd hates Belair wherever they were.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah.
But then Ripley gets, like, is Belair going to do a Drew McIntyre turn on Ripley? Because, like, Ripley's getting, like, the CM Punk treatment in this. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where
it could be.
McIntyre's talking about Punk screwing him with the referee thing in Scotland and ruining the Money in the Bank, but he gets no consequences, and it's like Ripley because she's Ripley, she's walking, like, you know what I mean? There's that kind of...
here is that Pierce is like, you are still owed a rematch, because you know how they bust out there's rematch
clause.
Or
remember that they were like so gung-ho about that?
Yeah.
And then they were like, it's gone. But remember there was a period in, I think that's when I was still watching main roster. It was a little after I started, but it was like the automatic rematch clause. Like when someone lost the title, you knew what someone's first program was.
So now this is Pierce saying Ripley doesn't get, just signing the contract last week is not valid, which I'm glad they acknowledged that.
Yeah.
Io's like doesn't really care at this point. She's pissed off at both. She's willing to fight both, but Pierce decides that Ripley, so they're coming one after the other basically. Ripley can have her rematch next week, because Ripley's point is, I never got my rematch. Pierce was like, I kept trying to give it to you and you didn't want it, so I don't even know.
I don't think that's even remotely
what
true.
That's referring to. But she can have it next week if she, and then Belair is just waiting to take on whoever wins that at Mania, and then They have a really choreographed like battle. I don't know if you saw it.
I heard it wasn't great.
It really was like choreographed and timing stuff, right?
What kind of dirty thing finish do you think they have here so that we can still get a triple threat?
Well, Belair's the ref, eh?
Oh.
So Pierce later in the show makes Belair the ref. And she's like,
as if that's ending well.
She's like, what do I know about referee? Which begs the question, like, yeah, why are you... She's like, I don't know anything about reffing. And he's like, I guess you got a week to learn. Something like that. I think that's pretty much it.
And what does that even change about the match, really?
It's just like...
more drama for the sake of it, I guess.
Just telegraphing, like...
that there's going to be something.
Of course.
As if we didn't already know.
We're still getting to the triple threat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bottom line, I think.
It has to be.
Dom tells Penta to think about joining Judgment Day.
We're so great right now.
And basically, I think the implication is we can help you become Intercontinental Champion. Isn't that great? Penta doesn't seem super interested. Not sure why he would be at this point, but...
because Judgment Day.
New Day want a title shot, and Pierce, much like what happened on Dynamite, tells them to go beat somebody, basically. Right?
I mean, valid.
I think. El Grande Americano, I was telling you, and Dragon Lee, they had a 10-minute match, and it was fun, man.
I've heard praise for it.
There was suplex off the apron, but it was like, was it a half and half or something like that? And it looked awesome. Hard landing for Dragon Lee. And then Grande Americano. How terrible.
I don't understand.
We could be sued for slander or libel. Which one's words?
I just feel like it's like kind of defamation of character because you're implying that he's someone else, or like misrepresentation or something like that, you know?
There was also a big backdrop that sent Lee hard into the corner. And Americano is being billed from the Gulf of America.
I thought that was pretty funny. I did see that.
Wow, okay. So anyways, he rips off Dragon Lee's mask, and Dragon Lee is frantically trying to cover his face, of course. So ankle lock applied, which is kind of funny too, right? Just how blatant it is.
You should do a chaos theory.
Dragon Lee struggles to figure out how to tap out while still covering his face, but he finds a way and does it.
If only we had more than one hand.
I feel like this is going...
Mask versus mask with Mysterio, I think.
But why don't we... I would love if they would somehow do a tag team with Gable and Americano.
That would be funny.
To find a way, but...
I don't know, that almost might be a bit much.
But it was... they can run this back at some point, add another 5 minutes, and I'm down. This was really good. And it's funny because he's also like... Americano is like... a lot of like amateur wrestling stuff, you know, and then the odd like lucha thing.
Just to show that he's like learned some lucha stuff and he is a luchador.
Hypothetically, if it were Chad Gable,
which like some conspiracy theorists have put out,
right? The guy is awesome at doing whatever you give him.
Yeah.
If he were 6'2", he would be.
I think he would be better than Chad Gable.
Not like, and I didn't mean that. If he were 6'2", he'd be huge. In all, right? Like in two senses of the word.
I say, if he weighed 500 pounds, he'd be pretty big.
Because he is amazing in the ring and he's funny. Anyways.
I think he should teach Chad Gable to be like some lucha moves, and they would be a really good tag team.
They would be. Like that's what I'm saying.
The next
you have them wrestle in a tag match. And he could be so smug.
Yeah, but you made it sound like it's not possible.
Right. But he'd be so smug about I told you so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't even think he needs to, really, because we've already seen them both on screen.
Exactly.
So we know that, like, it's not...
The problem is Americano, whoever he might be, under that mask, is wearing a singlet. So it's... If you were wrestling in, like, a shirt or something, it'd be easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Hypothetically, but not.
This is much better than remember they tried to do the Ezekiel angle too? That was stupid. But this, we all know that Chad Gable is a different person. So
Punk in-ring promo. He always loves to take shots at AEW, so he said he still works with children, right? Which I don't think everyone in the crowd gets, but
no. And it's not as funny as I was telling you. I forgot to mention it during news, but yeah, it was McIntyre went through a car windshield from Priest, and he said it was real glass, caught some of my eye, and I thought that was really funny.
He calls Rollins, that's Punk, a diaper piss baby?
No, Rollins is Seth Rollins. That's not Punk.
Rollins is
You
Seth.
said he calls Rollins, and you said that's Punk, and that's Rollins.
Oh, okay.
Different people.
He screwed Punk at Elimination Chamber. There's two men standing in his way.
When you're shouting die at him.
And they need to go. Reigns is taking this person personally because he sees in real time that wise man isn't just Roman's wise man. That's kind of interesting, right? The whole favor looming is kind of cool.
And so in the contract signing, he was saying like Heyman was the one who said on the contract that it's like Punk's main eventer now, but apparently that's not even the favor, so it's still
up in the air.
Up in the air, yeah.
And so this was all in service of a contract signing on SmackDown, and the crowd was pissed, right? Because it's like you're setting up something for not us to see.
I love when the crowd does that. It's like we set up something, we're like, yeah. Like, and then the second they mention it's in like, because SmackDown's in London, so he's in Scotland. He's like, oh, we're gonna head to the contract signing on SmackDown in London. They're just like, boo.
And a lot of times it's like, because whatever's closest a lot of times is like, it's the rival town next to you that you hate or whatever, right? And you're like, damn it, not only are we not getting it,
and now it's like
those bastards are getting it.
It's a different UK nation.
That's right. Main event, it's Breaker and Penta. Good match. We get the Breakensteiner, it's called now, which I think is okay. And he looks cool hitting it, I'm not going to lie.
He does, but that's a pretty atrocious name, I think.
We eventually get a Destroyer, I think, on the second attempt. The match ends in a DQ because Judgment Day are trying to be helpful and aren't. They get involved at the 11-minute mark, so it's a DQ. Balor shows up to attack Breaker with a chair. Dom hands Penta the chair in one of the worst like teases of like, oh yeah, you're gonna join us. Penta pauses for like a second, then throws the chair to Dom, kicks it into his face. But numbers game, Judgment Day end up beating down Breaker and Penta and stand tall to end the show. And it looks like a ladder match, right? Like I was telling you, I think we end up with Dom and Balor in there. Breaker can lose without being pinned. Penta's gonna win like fairly. My certainty score is pretty high on that.
I want Sheamus to get in there because I feel like we have a Lucha Bros.
Hasn't even been mentioned, so
I don't think so.
Even if he gets in, I can't imagine the guy that they didn't build at all. I mean, Redacted might do that, but I don't know if Triple H will. Yeah. So I feel like it's Breaker.
Yeah.
Finn.
Dom,
Penta.
Maybe.
What do we need? 2 more?
I'd like 2 more. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I would prefer it personally.
NXT. I told you I was disappointed in the opening match.
What was
because I really like both of them. So Vaquer has to defend both titles on this show.
Right.
She takes on Jada Parker, who I love.
Talk about the rare time you notice ring gear.
And, oh yeah, you're right. It annoyed me that Jada Parker was wearing a cool black outfit and then
these white
boots, but short was part of the irritation.
And like isolatedly white, not like her black gear had white accents, because then I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Or if there's even anything.
That's what I said. There was no other white to tie in.
Or not even any other color where it's like there's something else to detract from the black, right?
I thought the first half of this was pretty sloppy. I don't think maybe Jada is quite ready to work the style that Vaquer's different, right?
Yeah.
She's not like your standard North American wrestler, especially
and she's also,
Jada's
especially compared to the NIL PC
Performance
people,
Center
right?
arc.
She's seasoned from real wrestling places. She's actually a pro wrestler, not some
and even
cast
with
off
other wrestlers,
sport.
She kind of has a different style.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So anyways, Grace shows up to distract Parker because that's what baby faces do. I don't know. It seemed weird to me. Jada goes for Hypnotic. I think it was. Vaquer counters it into a pinfall, like a kind of a roll-up thing. I didn't think it was great, and I'm probably assuming it's Jada's fault, which is too bad. But they keep trying her out, right? And she'll get better. She's charisma off the charts.
Which I feel like is also a little harder than in-ring stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
in-ring is more likely to come to you eventually than character and charisma stuff.
So then the refs have to separate Grace and Parker, so I guess we're going there for now until we get to... Parker will be the obstacle before Grace gets to Vaquer.
Yeah, which isn't a horrible spot for Jada right now, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's appropriate.
It's something.
And then Fatal Influence come out to beat down Vaquer because she's facing Henley in the main event, I think it was, of this show.
I think so.
Trick and Evans interact backstage. Trick's kind of a jerk, of course, to Evans and is ripping on him for not being a champion and I think implying that he won't be a champion. And then Evans says he's going to fix it tonight when he wins the Heritage Cup from Lexis King. I kind of like the interactions between these two, and I much prefer Trick like this right now. Like, he's just pissed off, and we'll see where it goes with Dark State. We'll talk about your opinion on that in a bit, and I fear you're not wrong, but I kind of like the dynamics in these two. I just enjoy Evans, I think, is what it comes down to.
I really like him.
Me too.
I did see a bit of his promo bits, and I feel like he comes across authentic, and I think that's important.
And he seems actually kind of pissed and disappointed in Trick because this is like a guy for
Rightfully
him to look
so.
up to and whatever,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like,
Especially when you compare it to the build to the Heat Wave 4 that we were live
Yeah.
for, where it was like they were kind of respectful. They were
Yeah.
boys and whatever.
and he's like,
right?
I'm trying to connect with you. I'm not trying. And then it's like, well, now I'm pissed.
Just because it's about the belt. Yeah, Trick's being a dick.
We get our weekly, all the women's division is backstage watching the show.
Stepping up.
Lash Legend. Ava's there doing something. I don't remember. Checking on Vicaire, I think, whose midsection is now injured, and that'll be the target of the main event. So Lash and Jakara are complaining because Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley are getting a match in TNA next week. So they argue
Multiverse.
that they should be going for the Knockouts tag titles, and I don't think they're wrong. And it's going to lead to a match on this show. Ricky Saints sits down with Vic, and it's talking about, like, Vic, like some people say that you don't belong here or whatever. They're not happy with you being here. I forget how it's phrased. But he goes on to be like, I don't care. I've struggled before. I lived in my car and wondered how I was going to eat my next meal when I was starting out in wrestling. So this is nothing. Spears and the Culling show up, and Spears is like, sends Vic away, which I thought was funny. And then he's like, Ricky, did you ever wonder why I never asked you to be in the Culling? And Starks is like, because you knew I wouldn't join. And he's like, no, it's because you suck. And basically you make enemies everywhere you go and you burn bridges and blah, blah, blah. And Saint says, well, I guess I'd better win then. Because he's like, look at me. I have a family and a championship. I don't love Saint so far. I was telling you that. I thought Spears was better than him here. And looked kind of cool holding the belt.
Spears.
His beard is jet black right now.
It is. Which is pretty atrocious, but
I just fear like maybe Saints, the potential is the ceiling, and that's it. Like this is what he is, and it's pretty good. But I don't know. Maybe he'll prove me wrong.
I don't know. Some of his AEW promos, I always thought there was more there.
For sure, he had more energy. He had more charisma. Even when he was in like NWA, I know that's crazy, and other places. I don't know. I'm not seeing it so far.
He was in NWA at the right time, though.
He was at a good time, yes. When people were like, that's when he was really getting noticed, right? Like this guy.
That's what got him in AEW.
Yeah.
Because he got there during the pandemic.
That's right.
Him and Eddie came from NWA.
That's right. Ethan Page is a jerk to the Chase kids backstage. I forget what the catalyst was, but it's going to lead to
What are
Chase
their names?
taking
Go.
on Page.
See, I actually know, and that's the weird
Kale
part. It's Kale what?
Dixon
Yep.
and
David Finley's brother.
Uriah Connors.
There you go.
Damn.
Good job.
And what did I pull out earlier today? That was probably my best trivial knowledge ever earlier in this episode.
What was it?
I forget already.
It was because remember I was asking you it was the Delirious thing.
That is like that's
was
one of my all-time greats.
Yeah.
That's on the highlight. Clip that.
Clip it.
The Machine Guns are the ones giving Hank and Tank advice this week. I don't know what the advice was. Probably like lots of double team stuff, or because they had parties, it was like be extreme. So they were like, hey, you should have an elaborate double teaming.
Hey,
you
should do moves together.
I'm not complaining.
What?
But then they go out and lose to Igwe and DuPont in 10 minutes. Lee does distract the ref. Tyson shoves Hank off the top ahead of their finisher, which I don't love. It's like a suplex and a splash combo. But I think the idea is that Hank was again trying to do like high flying stuff because he took the advice of a smaller flippy team, and then it cost him the match.
Then you get advice from like Dudley's or.
So I don't know if they should.
That
like it feels like Hank and Tank are gonna snap eventually, but I don't think they should because I think the crowd kind of likes them.
They're kind of in that heavy machinery role.
And
which I think is fine.
And I think they're like high energy Smash Mouth style. I don't mind it either. So
yeah,
and then
they have a place, you know.
I think they do. And then the Machine Guns in a segment later kind of keep encouraging them. So I don't know if it's going to lead to a program with the Guns or what we're doing. But anyways, Sarah, what's her last name? Schreiber,
yep.
asked for Axiom about their match with the Hardys at Roadblock, and Axiom battling Gunther on SmackDown. So it's back to like more miscommunication thing. Axiom says it was a dream come true and a moment he'll never forget. Fraser says he wasn't invited, and Axiom says something about Fraser having a big mouth and they wanted to keep it a secret. Fraser's like, if I was there, you would have beat Gunther. Oba shows up on the Tron. Axiom says, wow, he looks really angry. And then Fraser's saying something to Schreiber, and then Axiom kind of just disappears, and Fraser notices and is annoyed. So I thought it's that old formula, but I don't think it's a bad thing because when we get the inevitable payoff of them splitting, like that could be...
Yeah.
If they go to a series of matches...
It'll be the peak of their careers,
It could be awesome. Yeah, I know. But it could be awesome for us.
I agree.
So I'm okay with it.
I pay attention to it.
Evans fails to win the Heritage Cup from
I
Lexus
saw
King.
his frog splash, man. Holy.
Nuts, eh?
Giving Montez a run for his money.
So 2 matches in a row now. I ask myself, is Lexus King good now? I've liked his last 2 matches.
Interesting.
Evans hit a dive to the floor. Then he goes to send King back into the ring. Oba shows up and really good-looking powerbomb on the apron spot, a la Kevin Owens. I think more kind of on the edge, though. But Evans is counted out here. So I thought this was, I hate to use this term, smart booking, because it's like King defends, right? Doesn't have to cheat. It's not a loss for Evans. We're furthering the Evans, Oba trick, whatever's going on there. And I was kind of entertained by the match. So, like, all around good. So then Oba keeps kind of look like he's stalking Javon. Lights go out. Were you watching at this point?
I don't know.
I know you watched the main event. It's Dark State in the audience watching as Javon is sort of trying to fight off Oba Femi. Oba hits a power bomb. Trick shows up in the ring, coincidentally, and hits Evans with a trick shot. Officials keep Trick and Oba apart as Dark State applauds. So 2nd week in a row, they haven't really advanced. And your thoughts on what's going on here?
It's dumb.
The payoff is?
Trick.
You think Trick is Dark State?
He's going dark. He hasn't been attacked. It's kind of like the only way to go. He might get him the title back. I don't know.
And it's like they kind of show up as like his backup, right? But they haven't needed it.
It's kind of like when they teased Punk being with the Shield when they debuted, except they never
followed through.
Actually did that.
And they'll follow through on this.
Yeah, which is another reason why
Feels
they're not
like
like the Shield.
And I'm kind of okay with it.
I guess it's fine. It gives them someone a little more credible, even though Trick kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy of Shield, you know?
Yeah, or, it's like Retribution. Trick is Mustafa
Hopefully it's
Ali.
like a more of an original than that. It didn't get photocopied that badly.
Honestly, the fact that they want it to be like the Shield makes me want it to fail.
I know it does. Gigi and Paxley beat Lash and Jackson in like 5 minutes.
Their tag finisher looks stupid.
Do you know what it's called? Sorry,
I forget.
almost spoiled it.
I did see. I forget.
So a little bit of a surprise because Lash and Jackson have looked good and been like featured, but I guess the current team that's going to TNA for, I think, a title shot, you have to have them strong. But then why? I don't know. Like, why did they have to beat Lash? And I guess it's because these girls have done nothing. Sorry, women, and we need to make them.
I guess so.
But anyways,
What's their finisher called?
Cemetery Drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony wants to know everything about Dark State, and like, he's super, super, super sure that he can for sure, definitely for sure trust Stacks. Trust him, no problem, for sure. Right? So, I mean, I wonder where this is going. And I'm okay with it. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like, he sends everyone else away and is like, I totally trust you, man. You for sure would never turn on me ever, ever. Basically. Paige beat Chase, and the Chase kids encourage him to do the stomps because that's what he's been struggling with, right? He can't quite bring himself to do the Chase stomp. He starts it this time, but Paige stops him in the middle. We get a middle rope power slam, look good, and then the Paige's finisher.
Oh yeah, the twisted grin.
Twisted grin for the win, 10 minutes. I thought it was pretty good. Like, if you were like, this is what I expect from a Paige Chase match, that's what you got. You know what I mean? So Dark State says things. Did you see it this week? I said to
This
Jack.
isn't the one I saw last week, right?
No, this is new this week.
I did not.
But it was right before the main event, so I think you were there. But again, it was like, let's take turns saying generic things. Right? Actually, not all of them, I don't think. I think it was maybe only 2. But anyways, they said things.
They're so great.
Vaquer then beat Henley with the SVB, in about 10 minutes. I thought a lot better than the opener. I like this, but it was the expected outcome. I don't know if you had any thoughts on it.
I honestly don't remember much from it.
I thought it was good. Henley, like, she's solid, right?
Yeah,
and
she's
Vaquer,
not bad.
I think, is pretty awesome. So
for a
that's what I
2.0
got.
project, she's fine.
Yeah, it now feels like you're the good hand that's never leaving.
Yeah.
A little bit. Which, based on what the reported minimum salary on the main roster is, sucks for her.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I
find it odd that Triple H released Duke Hudson because he didn't see him as a main roster guy, but then like there's so many people that he does keep around.
I know.
Like JC Jane.
I know. I like Duke Hudson.
And
he would be a great get for TNA.
Yeah, I think so.
Then Fatal Influence attack Vaquer after the match. Grace comes in for the save. Hands, you saw this part, hands both titles to Vaquer, but
she kind of holds on to the main one just to make it clear which one she's going for. She's not mid-card.
Which I think is totally fair, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Jada comes, attacks Grace, and from behind, but Grace drops Jada, knocks her to the floor, and then Vaquer kind of spins Grace around, and they have a stare down to sort of end the show. So again, focusing on the women's division, which is the strongest division they have, I think, I would almost say objectively at this point.
I feel like, right, they don't have much else going on.
And Vaquer's awesome to have at the top of that division. Jordan Grace is awesome. So, like, things are stacked at every slot, basically, in the women's division, right? So, awesome. I like that. But that is the last thing I have. And I think the last thing we have this week, yes?
My computer's dying, so yeah.
Perfect. So that's going to wrap up 245 as we approach 2 hours, of course. We hope you enjoyed it. Check us out, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you can do to help us out would be great. Again, sorry for the not so great video. I'll try and get that figured out for next week when we come back for 246. And until then, everybody, take care.